has had a great Sabbath so far, and I hope the day has been enlightening, and as all of them preceding, or should I say succeeding, shall be, I pray, for all those who's attached and submissive and committed to Yah, our righteousness, the King. Now, I know the day was long. I know some of you have been from the beginning of the message this morning. Some came in the midst, but those who came in the midst, you'd have to go back and pick it up from the beginning to understand the point. I hit on it a couple of times during the course of the session today, why I was dealing with the Civil War, and I pointed out different times in the course of reading that article, the divide and conquer, and how the Illuminated Edomite, the bankers got control of America and got control of the monetary system, and in so doing got control of America, as they've gotten control of basically most people in the world, if just about not all per se, when the Illuminated Edomite, when they were seeing eye to eye, as now, as I've said in the past, Yah is putting on them, Yeshaya chapter 27 verse 7, he's putting on them what they put on everybody else, divide and conquer. That's why you see and hear, possibly different ones of you heard about if not all of you, have heard about the BRICS, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're working on a new monetary system, okay, either predicated on a basket of currencies. It's going to consist of a basket of currencies, more likely than not predicated on gold, okay. And again, you got currency wars going on as we speak, and that's again what's making the dollar collapse, because you got these nations, illuminated nations and other nations, they don't want this dollar, okay. They do not want this dollar, all right. They getting out of it rapidly. And this is why, again, as I said in this session, you've got Illuminati Edomites, you know what I mean? They just printing up, the one that runs America, right? They just printing up dollars like crazy and giving people, paying people 4 to 5 times more for this land here in America, than it's worth, to get control of it. More GMO crops. You understand what I'm saying? That they're producing. Because they've cracked into Europe, Western Europe, with some of these GMOs, okay, which Europe been fighting them off, but they've penetrated to a degree, sending some of these GMO foods over there. But again, it's you know what I'm saying? None of this is going to last. I mean, this is why God's bringing on His way. He's hastening it, and that's why we have these sessions. That's why now you're getting more and more Israelites who've awakened, who are coming into Yah righteousness. We're getting new callers every week now, because they tell me, that the sister just called here this past week, and she told me she been knowing she's an Israelite for 20 years, but she had been hooked into that Yahshua JC nonsense, and she was listening to Yah righteousness however many times, and then it Yah turned the light on, and then she could see, and so now she understands. Okay, another brother called this week, and first time caller. He's off the East Coast, and he said now he can see. So you're getting more and more and more, but at the same time, they still got little discrepancies here or there, what have you, right? So Yah's in the process of clearing that up so that, again, they can make a true decision. Now, I also want to say before I forget, in this session, I made a error when I said Yeremiah chapter 16, you'll see Sodom and Gomorrah there. I meant 23. It's in the 23rd chapter of Yeremiah where you'll see Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, you also see it in Yeshaya chapter 1. Okay, in regards to Yehuda, Jerusalem being referred to as Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so therefore when you read Ezekiel chapter 16 and it's specifically talking about Jerusalem, okay, when it talks about Yehuda, Yah refers to Yehuda in Ezekiel 16 as Sodom. Okay, for any of you that got confused, okay, I saw another place where a sister wasn't sure just what I was talking about in Daniel. I think she missed that. If I'm not mistaken, it was Daniel chapter 12, verse 8. Okay, again, where Daniel tells the angel that he did not understand this vision that was just shown to him. And again, that's that vision that starts in Daniel chapter 11, verse 36. Okay, that it's fragmented. We don't have the introduction because the Illuminati Edomite took it away, but Yah made him leave what he left, and then they pushed that 1136 to 1210 Daniel up under, and connected it to the vision that starts in Daniel chapter 10, tried to make it all look like one vision. Okay, but again, it's not one vision, because in Daniel chapter 10, when the angel comes to Daniel, he tells Daniel, I've been sent to you to make you understand what I'm getting ready to show you. Okay, and when you keep reading, you see it's a continuation out of 10 into 11, and then it looks like it's a continuation all the way through from 10 through 11 through 12. But when you get to 12:8 Daniel, you see that Daniel didn't understand this vision, and so that's a red flag. And it's no way that an angel will be sent to someone to tell this person that I've been sent to you to make you understand, and then on the end of it you still don't understand. And that's what lets us know these are two different separate visions. And as I said in the past, you got to backtrack from Daniel 12, 10 per se, right? You got to backtrack, and then you pick it up. You see it at 1136. That's where that vision comes in. At 1135, that's where that vision that starts at 10:1 Daniel ends. As I just said near the end of this session, that vision, okay, that starts in Daniel chapter 10 verse 1 started in 535. That's when, you understand, the angel was sent to Daniel, because Daniel was afflicting his soul for the 3 full weeks. At the same time, when he heard when Cyrus got the letter that Zerubbabel and them was doing something they weren't doing, he wrestled with it, because see, Cyrus understood, as he's spoken of in the book. Those of you who privy to it, and I'm sure just about all of you possibly who are in this room today are privy to it, that Cyrus knew, because he says it over in Ezra chapter 1, okay, that Yah had raised him up to build him an house in Jerusalem. Okay, so he understood, and he also makes mention of that Yah had given all the nations into his hand so that he could do this. So he understood, why he was in the position he was in. So quite naturally, once you really understand that, see, when you get over there, when he received the letter and the letter was read to him, he wrestled with it. Okay, he didn't want to do it, and that's why Yah sent the angel to prevail over Cyrus, and Cyrus wrestled, with the thought of putting a stop to the temple or not putting a stop to it. He wrestled with it for 3 weeks before the angel prevailed upon him, and then he did send forth the stop order. And when he sent forth the stop order, quite naturally, at the same time he sent forth the stop order, Daniel stopped afflicting his soul. Because again, as I said earlier, in this session, Daniel knew
that you understand it was supposed to get stopped because he had been told this 3 years earlier. And that's in Daniel chapter 9, right? Verse 26, first half of the verse 26. Okay, and that's why, again, I've said in this session that any of you out there or any who will hear this message in the future, you know, anybody that's been explaining that Daniel chapter 9, 24, 5, 6, and 7 verse any other way other than how Yah has brought it forth out of Yah righteousness, you understand? I haven't heard anybody else, any other movement, any other group, any other person that has explained that Daniel chapter 9, 24, 5, 6, and 7 correctly. And any of you out there who hearing this message today or who will hear it, if you have heard anybody that explains it exactly as Yah has brought it through Yah righteousness, then contact us and let us know who else is saying that. Because I haven't. Okay, in over 20 years, listening to these groups here and around Chicago, and as I've told you in the past, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not on this internet where I go to other groups and whatnot. So I know many of you are and have, you know, listened to other groups in the past, possibly to this day. So if they've explained it, okay, that way, let us know if they have, because we haven't heard anybody that explains it correct. Okay, and again, the book substantiates and confirms the fact that it was Zerubbabel. Again, you know, Ezra chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you know, the first 6 chapters of Ezra, flashback, Ezra is talking about Zerubbabel and them, and also the last few verses in the last chapter of 2 Chronicles chapter 36, verse 21 to the end. Okay, now let's go. Questions? No questions? Okay, says Peace, Yahoo, I understand why, but when it comes to emotions and feelings, can you explain why caring is over love? Yah bless. Okay, that's Yah's will. Well, again, love is an emotion, plain and simple. And you got to remember, when we're reading the book, we're reading it in English. That's that's what it's transliterated in. I don't speak any other language but English. And some people would probably say I don't even speak that too good. Okay, but I don't know how that might be translated in other languages. But in English, it's love. Love is an emotion. Okay, and caring is an understanding. Okay, because see, when you care about somebody, you're going to tell them at times things that they're not necessarily going to like. Okay, but you care about them, so you're going to tell them. You see what I'm saying? You're going to tell them because you want them to know. You follow me? Something that they need to know for their own benefit. Okay, and again, this is like covered in Proverbs. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's not what you say to a person. It's generally how you say it, but it's things that people need to hear. They're not going to like it. I mean, just like when you go back and you look at the prophets, right? Many of our forefathers who were prophets, they told the people what they needed to hear because they cared, and quite naturally, Yah raised them up and sent them, right? But because they cared. And I mean, I have to say that because when you read Yeshaya, when you read Yeremiah, you follow what I'm saying? Definitely when you read Yeremiah, you can see how he cared and how he anguished, okay, when he brought this word, because the people were so angry with him. And you got to understand, again, chronologically, where Yeremiah was compared to where Yeshaya was, okay? Yeremiah was contemporary. Well, he was even before Ezekiel, all right? Ezekiel came during the time of Yeremiah, but a little later, as Yeshaya and Yedida, we were on the phone the other day. Also, let me say, little sidebar here. We know this is the 7th month. That's how we recognize it. So for all you out there that acknowledge the first day of the month, blowing of the trumpets, right? The 10th day of the month, which was Thursday, and that's when Yedida and Yeshai and I had this conversation, which was the Day of Atonement, right? And Yekoya was on that conversation as well. And in that conversation, because like you heard me say at the end of this session, people are always saying, when you going to do the next one, when you going to do the next one? You know what I mean? And I always want to do something that is going to be enlightening, that, I always pray that Yah's going to direct me to explore something that, more than likely, possibly it's been explored before, but possibly in a different way or more profound, okay? And it's like, I don't want to just, go and do something just to be talking, okay? I want it to be, things that people can actually listen to and grow. So, it's not that easy, when you're putting these things together, because, you want it to be substantive, you want it to be things that are underscoring the prophecies in the book, and to put forth the fulfillment of Yah's word, right? And where people can understand them and actually see them historically. It's just like in Jeremiah chapter 23, when Yah says, in the latter days you shall consider it perfectly, right? And that's how we consider it perfectly, because we go back in the past historically and substantiate Yah's word to this very day. But in this conversation we had the other day, that I said, I don't know when I'm going to do another one. It might be a little more than a month. And so when we were talking about the situation with David and when, in other words, when Israel as a nation kind of started, basically started unraveling, okay? They reached the zenith in the first part of Solomon, in the first so many years of Solomon's reign. But they were ascending to this zenith with David, okay? That's when it really started to, under David and his rulership, in the sense of, being Yah's servant, the nation really started to ascend in strength, being connected to Yah and submissive to Yah. I'm not going to go in all that to now, because like Yeshai brought out, he said, you can talk about that. You can talk about that next time. So that's possibly what we're going to deal with next time. I'm going to get inside of that and more, but it's got to be, I got to hook some more up with that to, make a session. So, but I just wanted to say that. And again, that caring is like I say, that's why I see that being the highest rung on the ladder. Now, again, I see this thing about the Native Americans, and again, it was answered earlier. I saw the person who came, I can't remember who it was, and when they said, how did the Indians get here? Okay, and then I saw somebody answer, maybe they missed it, they came, through Alaska. Well, they did. They came over the polar cap, but they came from the Indus Valley region. I've talked about that in the past. If you go back and listen to, and see, this is my point, okay? See, people say, when you going to do the next one, Yehuda? When you going to do the next one? But see, again, if people will go, see, because we're on the internet, so everybody's got the internet that's listening to this, right? If you go to the previous Pal Talks, if you go to the shows that we did with with Mark Sims, and again, don't discount those shows we did with Mark Sims. Those ones that are up that you can go and access, you need to go back there and listen to them, all right? But the Pal Talks are more informative because I had more time, all right? Like I said in the past, when we did the things with Mark, the max time was always 60 minutes. Okay, we did some things weren't even 60 minutes. It was, 20 minutes or 40 minutes, all right? Like that decision time piece. But the Pal Talks, as you see, right? I mean, it's basically unlimited time. And I'm able to get inside of things and really, get profound inside of these prophecies, inside of the word of Yah, and the historical data that substantiates and confirms it. Okay? Just like I just did with this, article out of the Midnight Messenger about, the Civil War and the real reason for it. Okay? And it was the Rothschilds in opposition to Abraham Lincoln. Okay, and I was able to read the article, as you heard, and actually get into it, okay, and explain it from the perspective of Yah's word. See, I couldn't do that. I didn't have that kind of time on the shows we did with Mark. Okay, so that's why I say go back and listen to those Pal Talks. Don't just go into one segment because you can understand that possibly, one 15-minute segment, and then you listen to the 15-minute segment, but you don't come back to the next 2 or 3 cause you don't really understand that, or you think you understand everything. So you need to go back through them, okay, meticulously, and listen to them, because Yeshaya's got them set up on playlist, okay, and you can go back and listen to them thoroughly all the way through, just like I've said in the past to people, and I know I've said it on some of these Pal Talks, and I know I've said it to many people that I've talked to on the phone. Matter of fact, a brother just said this to me last night that I hadn't talked to in about 2 years. You understand? He did definitely about 1.5 years. He's on the East Coast. He's up there in Boston. He's probably listening now. He's going to hear this. He called. We hadn't talked, like I said, 1.5 years to 2 years. And he said, hey, Yud, he said, no, we ain't talked in a while. We had a nice conversation, but he told me last night, he said, I did what you told me to do. He said, that's one reason why I haven't been calling. He said, I did what you said to me a number of times. He said, I had to go back and really read the book, Genesis through Malachi. He said, and that's what I've been doing. He said, and you were right. He said, I can see a whole lot more that I didn't see before. And this brother, he knows he is right. He's been knowing he is right for a while. And also, while I'm talking about that, all of you got your pen in your hand, okay? And if you miss it now, you can go back when Yeshaya puts this up in about, 10 days to 2 weeks. It should be all up, all right? If not sooner, but give him some time to put it up, okay? But the point being is, copy this down so you can go to this site and check this out. Because this brother last night from Boston, he laid this on me, right? CovertMessiah.com. All right, that's covert, COVERT, Messiah.com. Go there and check that out, because we checked it out this morning, so much of it, and because he told me, he said they had to be listening to what you've been putting out. He said, oh, that's what they putting out now. But when you go there and read it, you're gonna have to discern it, and possibly the next time out, I will talk about that on the next session too, and incorporate that, okay? Because you got to hook it up. But I mean, they've got it there, but you know what I'm saying. You got to be able to actually see who's who in a sense, okay? But they're telling that this Christianity again is a fabrication. All right, it's a made-up story. Okay, but you go there and check it out. Like I said, on the next session, I'm going to deal with that. And then on the next Q&A, after all of you out there have checked it out, we can come back and deal from that perspective. Okay, but again, don't skip around, okay, because again, that's what a lot of people do in this book. They skip around. They don't really read it thoroughly. Genesis through Malachi, and then organize it in a chronological manner. Okay, this is again why the Illuminated Edomite took that intro from that vision. Okay, 1136 Daniel. That's why they took that intro out. See, because generally, and I know, and I've touched on this before, I know many of you in reading the book, and some of these prophets, it doesn't have a time on it. And you know, just think about it. You know, all of these prophets, when they put, you know, when they started their book, when Yah raised them up and started bringing word, you know, his visions through them, you know, they all had a chronological date at the beginning of their book. You know, every one of them did that, right? But Esau is taking, out of some of these prophets, he's taking the time frame out, and he's fooled with the time frame. That's why he took that introduction to that vision in 11:36 Daniel through 12:10 Daniel. He took it out because he didn't want us to actually know when that vision was given and when it, you know, what it was talking about. You know, in other words, where it was chronologically. See, that's why he tried to try to hook it up, make us think that it jumped off back there in the third kingdom. Okay? And again, the Native Americans, they come from the Indus Valley region. They got run up out of there. I've talked about this in the past, right? By the Vedic Aryans and or Scythians. Okay? 1500, 1400 BCE. They got run up out, you know, constantly attacked. And many of them migrated from the Indus Valley region up through Siberia, over the polar cap, okay, across the Bering Straits into what's called Alaska, and then the majority of them kept on coming, and they started coming down from the polar cap south to Canada, to North America, which is the United States. Many of them kept on going down into Mexico, Central America, right? South America, right? That's why, you know, you just look at them, you know, the Bolivians, the Colombians, you know what I'm saying? Many of them had the same look, you know, Hawaii, right? Nothing but descendants out of the Shemites, out of the Indus Valley region, okay? And again, a few of them stayed up there in Alaska, and they're called Eskimos, but they look just like many of your Native Americans in North America or Canada or Mexico. Okay? What's next? Can we take the mic to ask a question? You know, we've never done that before. You can't type it? Just type it. Okay? What is the book of Enoch 6:69-12? Is there any validity to this parable? Yeah, the validity is that the Illuminati Edomite stuck that in there, just like they stuck in about this book of Jasher. Okay? You got to remember all the time that the Illuminati Edomite has fooled with this book. Okay, Yadida and I were just talking about this yesterday. Okay? And again, you know, the Apocrypha, because I was talking about it with another brother that I'm pretty sure that the conversation Yadida and I had. But the point being is, we've talked about this before. Esau has stuck things in this book to try to throw you off. All right? Because again, when you read Yeshaya chapter 46, verse 13 and 51:5, right? Yah says he is brought near his righteousness. That's 46:13, Yeshaya. And his salvation is soon to follow. He is brought near his righteousness. In 51:5, Yeshaya he says, my righteousness is near. Okay, well, his righteousness is his word. All right, and that's what makes this King James Authorized Version be the version that should be read, because it's the only transliteration that's all over the world in over 2,000 languages. So therefore, it's near everybody on the earth. But this book of Enoch, right? This book of Jasher, right? The Apocrypha, those books are not near. Those books are not translated in over 2,000 languages. The same thing applies to the the Edomite writings, you know, with the Hebrew Edomite on one side and the English on the other. Okay, the Jewish publications, they're not translated in over 2,000 languages, or nowhere near it. You see what I'm saying? See, these books you gotta hunt, you gotta try to find, and that's why we know that these are the works of the illuminated Edomite. Just think about it from this perspective. Look at it from this angle. Okay. Yah is righteous, right? Well, would he be righteous if he had some of his righteousness that we needed to know where it was hid and not accessible, not only to us but anybody? Would he be righteous if he did that? He wouldn't be righteous if he did that. You understand? That's like I said. You listen to this last session. What did I say? They, what does Illuminati do? The same thing they doing with Assad in Syria, right? They basically saying, jump 20 feet, jump this 20 feet span, right? And we won't attack you. You know what I'm saying? In other words, they put something before you that's impossible, and then tell you, if you do this, then like you'll be all right. You'll be saved. Y'all wouldn't do that. He's not going to do. You understand? Expect us to read and study his righteousness, his word, but we can't find it. Okay? See, that Enoch, Jasher, all that stuff's an implant by the illuminated Edomite who translated the book. Okay? What's next? Hold on. That's it then?
This is it.
What? Okay, what?
Yes.
Hold on. We're searching.
Yes, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
why is Salathiel stated as Zerubbabel's father in the book of remembrance rather than Pedaiah, 1 Chronicles 3:19? But again, see, Pedaiah was really Zerubbabel's paternal father, okay? But Pedaiah was Salathiel, right? He was his brother. And Salathiel died without having a son. So Pedaiah did the Levirate law. He raised up seed to his brother. Okay? And that's why Zerubbabel is called the son of Salathiel. You understand? Pedaiah did the law of the Levirate to his brother who died without having a son. Okay? And raised up seed to his brother. Okay, what's next?
Are those who speak in tongue of Yah?
Okay, are those who speak of tongue in Yah? Now, when you say in tongue, like I said in this session, they talk that gibberish, these ones who's into the idols, right? So that's all I can respond to that. If you're referring to what's over in Yeshaya, right? And I've spoken on that in the past, where it says he shall speak to this people in another tongue. Let me, what's that, 28? Okay, verse 11, Yeshaya, right? For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. If you're referring to that, he's going to speak to this people. This people, when you see at the top of chapter 28, Yeshaya, is the descendants of Ephraim, or our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians that's over in the land, and more of them going to be over in the land when the Jerusalem movement gets there. Because you understand, once the Edomites are run out and judged and killed in their land by Yah, right, at the hand of some of the descendants of the house of Yahoseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, then many of the children of Israel, Samaria, or the 10 tribes are going to flood up into the land of Israel, who are in other lands, Jordan, some of those, Arab Emirates, the Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Libya, different places, America, Europe. They're going to flood up into the land once the Edomites get run out and killed. Okay? It's going to, like I said in the past, it's going to be like the Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch is dead. You know what I mean? Ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. Okay? You even going to have Gentiles and possibly other people who've been raised in that mindset that, they Christians, and when the Jews get judged, this is going to bring back the main idol of Christianity. They're going to come up into the land. And this is what it's talking about in Micah chapter 5 down at the bottom, when it says, you know, when Yah brings back the Jerusalem movement, just matter of fact, just read all of chapter 5, Micah, right? Because it's talking about the seed of David that Yah is bringing back, you understand? And again, the movement, you know, the Yah righteous movement. And he says when he brings this Jerusalem movement back, we're going to be in the midst of many people like a dew on the grass that tarries nor waits for any man. All right, because again, when the Edomites get judged, you're going to have many of our brothers and sisters who, you know, probably will just be coming into hearing that they Israel. Some of them, many of them already have heard it. Because again, as we've spoken of before, these descendants out of the house of Yaosef, as you see in the one chapter of Obadiah, right, who, you know, descendants out of Ephraim and Manasseh. I'm not saying all of them, but it's going to be different ones out of the house out of Manasseh and Ephraim that make up the house of Yaosef. That's actually going to put the killing on these Edomites. Okay, when Yah drives them out into their, you know, the Edomites into their land, they're actually going to be the flame, as you see in the one chapter of Obadiah. But it's the fire from the house of David. Okay. You understand? Remember, I've spoken of it before. Maybe you didn't hear it. That's why I say go back and listen to these Pal Talks thoroughly, okay? And look at those shows we did with Mark Sims thoroughly, okay? And again, you know, it's different places in the book where it's going to say you're cold. I think I even touched on one of those places in this last session, all right? Where Esau has changed it. The Illuminati boys have changed it from either Zion, Jerusalem, or the house of David. In that one chapter of Obadiah, they changed from the house of David to the house of Jacob. Okay? And we know it didn't say the house of Jacob. How do we know it? Because the house of Yaosef is part of the house of Jacob. All right? You follow me? So it's no way that it said the house of Jacob for fire, because that would make also the house of Yaosef fire. But they can't be the fire, they got to be the flame. They can't be both. Okay? So it said the house of David, because again, that's where the fire is what? The word of Yah. Yah's righteousness, his word. You follow me? And this word is fire. That's why you know, many of you out there, if not all of you in this room today, all right, because I've talked to, I know many of you, and many of you have told me, Yehuda, I'm trying to, I'm telling my parents or my brothers or my sisters or my wife or my husband, or I'm telling my friends or my relatives, you understand it, and they look at me like I'm crazy. They can't hear it. See, and not only that, they tell me I'm crazy, or they berate me, or they don't come around me anymore because they can't stand to hear it. This word is fire, okay? And the people that are not about it, it burns them up. They can't stand to hear it. That's why they move away. That's why they stop coming around you. When you're known as a carrier of this message, they don't even really understand what the message is, but they know that they're not about it. And when they hear it, it burns them up because they're not about it. See, because you're talking about righteousness, you're talking about truth, you're talking about peace, and you're saying that this is from the true, living, only creator, Yah of hosts. They can't stand to hear that. Okay? So the word is fire. Okay? And it burns people up. That's why Yah said, you know, I'm going to make your mouth like a new sharp threshing instrument. You're going to slay the wicked with the breath of thy lips, right? Smite the earth with the rod of thy mouth. Okay? What's next?
She has another. Did JC even?
No, that's why, again, this is all.
That's the question.
Okay, yeah, remind me of, you know, say the question. The question is, did JC even exist? No. Emphatically no. It's a total myth. That's why I said, you know, when you write down this covertmessiah.com, all right, and you can go there. This is what these Gentiles, and even look like it might be an Edomite among them. Okay, through studying, they didn't come to find out that this is total fabricated story. You understand what I mean? In other words, like the brother said to me last night when he told me about this site, he said, Yoda, they had to be listening to what's coming out of Yah, right? He said, because they saying basically the same thing you. But the deal is, when you read it, like I said, you got to have, you know, some illumination to understand the hookup when they start talking about the Vespasian and Titus, okay, and Philo of Alexandria, okay? See, like I said before, you had Edomites in Greece, you follow what I'm saying, who had Greek names, okay, and they was the ones teaching them Greeks. All right, do you understand? The Greeks are not, you know, no other people had the wisdom and understanding that these illuminated Amalekite Edomites acquired, that Yah inseminated into them so that they could be the antithesis to his thesis. Okay, what's next? Okay, I saw something about the fires. Are the fires set in the west possibly to be burned, or be to burn out the flesh-eating bacteria amoeba we spoke about last week? No, I don't see that as that. And since you mentioned that, I saw somebody earlier when they put up about this crocodile eating. They call it crocodile eating bacteria, eating people's, you know, a drug rather that they call crocodile. Okay, this drug they call crocodile that's eating people's flesh up. Okay, well, you know, we were having a conversation the other week, and Yeshaya brought that to me, and you know, because he mentioned it about this new drug, and I told him, you know, because him and I think it was Yadid and myself was on phone, might have been Yakoya too, and I told him, you know, that's not anything new. Do you understand? That's a derivative. Is probably something they call it. You know, it's the same as it was back there in the middle to the late 70s. All right, they call them teas and blues. Okay, teas and blues, and Esau brought that stuff out here in Chicago. I don't know where else it was, and the heroin addicts started to use these teas and blues. These was pills, okay, and it was a pill that had one side of the pill was blue, the other side, if I'm not mistaken, was yellow. But they was calling them teas and blues because, you understand, I think it had a T on the yellow side, and they were calling just the color on the other side blue. They was calling them teas and blues, okay, and they used to crush them up, liquefy them, and then they'd shoot them up. You know, these teas and blues, you know, just like they shot heroin into their vein, and it was getting them high just like heroin, but they was a lot cheaper. See, and again, you know, being acquainted with the drug world that, you know, I was involved in, you know, many years ago, as I intimated in this last session, every year, at some point in the year, Esau is always going to bring a drop of drugs, you know, here in Chicago. I don't know about other cities, but he did it here in Chicago, and more likely he's still doing it. Possibly. He might not even be having no drop now, because like I said on this last session, he's deluging us with drugs. Now everybody, okay? He's making them very accessible. But back then, in the 60s, middle to late 60s, and the early 70s, and middle 70s, okay, I know for a fact, late 70s too, I know for a fact, every year, okay, around springtime, okay, right before you go into the summer, it would be a drought on marijuana, okay, and the heroin would be flowing. I mean, you could just come out your door on the doorstep and get heroin, okay, but it'd be a drought on the marijuana, and that drought might last a month, 3 weeks to a month. You couldn't really find any really good, you know, marijuana, all right, because his plan was to drive the people who was smoking marijuana, drive them into using heroin. See, well, he would have a drought on heroin too, okay. He have a little period where you couldn't get any heroin, and that's what he was doing when he promoting them teas and blues. And when the people started using the teas and blues in about 7, 8, 9 months time, they did a document, you know, a news report here in Chicago, how those teas and blues from shooting them up was eating the people's flesh up. All right, and like I told Yeshaya, Yedida, and I think maybe Nicole was on the phone. When they showed these people, okay, who had been using these T's and blues, shooting them up like heroin, I mean, their flesh was like eating away. It looked like a shark had bit them, and then it healed up unevenly, and it was nasty looking. Okay, eating their flesh up. So this ain't nothing new. They just bringing it back again, because like I said in this last session, they deluging the masses with drugs now. Okay, they just came out with something, I can't even remember what I saw it on, just here like this past week. They were talking about methamphetamine, crack, and they saying that this methamphetamine, they churning that stuff out, you know, by the ton. Okay, it's really prolific. Okay, what's next? Okay, when did Esau change colors? You know, and somebody I think asked me that last session. I couldn't come, but they were called Khazars when they went up into Turkey and flipped color. Once they flipped the color, they became known as Khazars. Okay, and it's in 135 BC. 135 CEAD. All right, that's what you see in Malachi chapter 1. When Yah says, Esau said, though we are impoverished, we shall return and build the desolate waste. Okay, it was doing right when the Romans put down that rebellion led by Simon Bar Kokhba, who was called the Messiah of his day. And this was from 132 to 135 CEAD. It was a 3-year rebellion that the Edomites was fighting against the Romans. Okay, and when the Romans put that rebellion down in 135 CEAD, that's when they kicked the Edomites out of the land. Now, I've talked about this in the past. That's why I say go back and listen to those previous PAL talks. You know, because like I just said on this last message about Farrakhan, the con man, all right, you understand that Esau rolls out here on the people, all right, and been rolling them out from day one. His message has changed. If you know about him, if you've been listening to him over the last, like I say, since the late 70s when he re-established the Nation of Islam. Okay? But truth don't change. Truth is truth. You follow me? And you go back and listen to those sessions we did on Pal Talk last year. Okay? I know I talked about this. You understand? And again, see, the conspiracy was already set by the illuminated Edomites. These handful of Amalekite Edomites who were illuminated. Because again, like I said on this last session, all of the Amalekites are not illuminated. Okay? We only were talking about just a handful. I said 7 or 9 on this last session. It might not even been that many. It might have been 5 or 7. See, because again, you think about it, okay? They're selfish. I mean, you know, they're all about themselves. And when they got a hold of this book of remembrance in its pristine form, okay, around 332, 331, 330 BCE, all right, and they read it, after a while, you understand, they understood it, all except the book of Daniel. That's the only book in this book they didn't understand. Okay? And that was from Yah. And that's chapter 12, verse 13, Daniel. And just like I said in this session, and I just mentioned it, you know, about any of you out there who heard anybody talk about Daniel chapter 9, 24, 5, 6, and 7, you follow me? I know I haven't heard anybody that really understands that. No one other than us. Now, you know, and Yah's brought that through Yah righteous because this is his arm, this is his movement. I say the same thing about Daniel 12 verse 13. Okay? I haven't heard anybody that understands that. See, because everybody I heard that explains Daniel 12:13, they always claim that Daniel gonna rise up. Okay, in the last days, Yah gonna raise up Daniel out of his grave, you know, bring him back. Just like many of them talk about, you know, David gonna be brought back. David dead, been dead. Okay? Been dead. David died in 964 BCE. He's not coming back. Those places in there where you see the prophecy of David in prophetically talking about today, that's talking about one of his seed that Yah said he was going to raise up. One. And like I said before, David might have 2, 3, 4, 5,000 sons walking around on this earth. But it's only going to be one Yah said he was going to raise up and going to work through. And again, you can see that in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 9. Okay? And Daniel 12:13, that's not talking about him being raised up out the grave. That's talking about him being looked upon as a prophet of Yah. Because again, when the Illuminati Edomite, these Amalekites got a hold of the book and started reading it, and they read the book of Daniel, like I said in the past, they looked at the book of Daniel as a funny book. They like, oh man, he ain't no prophet of Yah. See, all the rest of them prophets, they acknowledged. See, but Daniel was talking such in a profound manner, you know, and about things, they was like, oh no, this ain't real. So he wasn't standing in his lot as a prophet of Yah. But see, again, when you read Daniel 12:11 and verse 12, you know, 12:11 and 12:12, that's the indicator in 11. See, because again, as I've said in the past, is in that verse 11 where it says, concerning the daily sacrifice. Now it takes you back to chapter 8, Daniel, dealing with the daily sacrifice and the days involving when the daily sacrifice was stopped. All right, so therefore you got to go historically and find out when was the daily sacrifice stopped. Okay, and the daily sacrifice was stopped by Antiochus Epiphanes in 168 BCE, what we call December 25th. Okay, that's when you start counting those 2300 days, and those 2300 days ended in 161 BCE. And that's when, okay, the daily sacrifice was put back on by our forefathers at that time. Okay? And then, not long after they put it on, this is when Demetrius I, the nephew of Antiochus Epiphanes, came. And that's the prince that came. Daniel chapter 9, the last half of the 26th verse and verse 27. He came with his army and destroyed the city and that sanctuary, that second temple. And the ends thereof was with a flood. Okay, as we've spoken of in the past, he sent them a letter, our forefathers a letter, who was there at the time. All right, saying, I'm not going to treat you like my uncle and my cousin treated you. You know, everything is copacetic. Everything's cool with us. I'll be there in a week. But he got there in the midst of the week. And when he looked down on the city, and you can see this in First Maccabees. That's the only thing that's good about them Apocrypha, that book of the Apocrypha. See, like I said in the past, because the illuminated Edomite, in his zeal trying to place himself historically as us, all right, he revealed a piece of history that's needed to understand this, what I'm saying to you. You know, Daniel 12:12, okay? 12:11, 12:12, and basically 12:13. All right, simple as that. Okay, what's next?
You finish answering when Esau changed colors.
Oh yeah, and again, Esau changed colors because when they got kicked out of the land by the Romans in 135 CE AD, the conspiracy was already set by the illuminated Edomites. Okay, like I said, we're only talking about a handful, and they knew that they were going to rise to the dominion of the world. Genesis chapter 27. They also knew by understanding the book where the power was going to be. But we talking about world ascendancy, okay, world rule. And so these illuminated Edomites, some of them I know they took a bunch of Edomites who didn't have any knowledge with them, and they went to Turkey. Okay, and mixed over a period of 500 years from 135 CE AD over the next 500 years up into the 7th century CE AD, the 600s. They came out around that time as being called Khazars, and they didn't flip color then. These ones who went up into Turkey. But see, some went to other lands. See, because you got to remember and understand that, these Edomites, the Edomite people was dark complected. As we've stated before, and evidently this person who just put this up there, you understand? They know that Esau was dark complected. All right, because again, when you go back there in Genesis, the original Esau, his first 3 wives were dark complected, so that made his immediate progeny darker than him, because he was red, right? So his immediate progeny, they had darker hue, and then the descendants of Esau, they kept mixing with the Hamites, Ishmaelites, people of color. That's what you see by the time you get to the book of Nehemiah. Who was coming at Nehemiah, trying to kill him? You had Sanballat the Horite, and you had this Ishmaelite. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I know some of y'all out there know it, right? Was it Tobiah? The Ishmaelite? I know one of them was an Ishmaelite. But anyway, Sanballat the Horite, he was Edomite. Because the descendants of Esau mixed with the Horites, who were what? Who were Hamites. They also mixed with the Nabateans, who was Hamites. So they kept on mixing, just like when you go in Kings and Chronicles, you understand, you read about Hadad during the time of David. He was taken down into Egypt, right? And there he mingled with the elite of Egypt. I've spoken on this before. And then when he became an adult, he married into the house of Pharaoh. Married his I think it was his sister-in-law, okay? And then when Solomon messed up, Yah brought Hadad back. He came out of Egypt. Okay, when Rehoboam, when Solomon died, it was when Solomon died, and right before he died, and Rehoboam came up on the throne, Hadad came back. See, but he had been mixing with Egyptians, so he's dark. The Edomites was dark complected. So you had some that went up into Turkey, like I said, and it was probably a small, minute number of these illuminated Amalekites who took a larger group of Edomites who weren't illuminated with them up, for cover, you understand what I mean, up into Turkey to mix. And over a period of time, like I say, 500 years, they flipped color. But you had other illuminated Edomites, because we're only talking about a handful. They went to various other places in the world. Some went to Persia, and today it's called Iran. Some went into the darker complected Hamitic nations. And like I said in the past, they very well could have been the ones who started this Moor thing. You understand what I'm saying? And set up those Moorish, so-called Moorish colleges. See, because people just deal with dark, these pigmentations. They don't really know who these people were. But you got to remember that it was the illuminated Edomite who had more wisdom, more understanding than anyone. And that was from Yah. See? And by the time you get down there to that 2nd century CE AD, he had been full-blown illuminated for a while. You understand? Because like it says in Daniel chapter 12, 13, after the days, in reference to what? Daniel 12:11, dealing with the daily sacrifice. Okay, like I said a minute ago, those 2300 days ended in 161 BCE. So it was sometime right, possibly not long, after that. It could have been 159, 158. But it was sometime after 161 BCE, okay, that these illuminated Edomites, Malachites at the time, okay, descended from the initial ones who got the book, right? They said, might even been the younger set, the younger set that just came on the scene. You understand what I mean? Our fathers, they said this book of Daniel was a comic book. It wasn't real. Let's check it out. And then they went and read the book of Daniel. You understand what I mean? But now, when they read the book of Daniel and then looked at the previous 350 years or so of history, they like, wait a minute, man, this Daniel was a prophet. See, they could see it, right? Because Daniel had called that previous 350 years, he had called it to the letter. So they're like, man, Daniel's a prophet, okay? All right? So he's standing in his lot. He's known as the prophet of Yah now. You follow what I'm saying? So you just pick it up, say, let's just say arbitrarily from 155 BCE, okay? Now just flip the script and go to 155 CE AD. That's 310 years. that they had been illuminated, full-blown illuminated. You follow what I'm saying? So now, nobody on earth had the wisdom and understanding other than, and let me go back and clean that up, and put total clarity. Other than, if you still some descendants of Tyre who were Hittites, you understand, like we see in Ezekiel chapter 28. Because, it tells you there in Ezekiel chapter 28 that the Tyrians who were Hittites, right, the children of Heth, they were wiser than Daniel. And again, it's possibly not talking about all the Tyrians, but definitely the head at that time. Okay? But you got to remember now, you understand, Ezekiel's back there, in the top part of the 6th century BC, the 590s, 580s. You follow what I'm saying? So now I don't know just how long those Hittites maintain that kind of knowledge. But now let's take it a step further since we there. You go to the 83rd Psalm. Okay? You go to the 83rd Psalm. So you see who was complicit with the tabernacles of Edom. And that's all the Edomites, including the Amalekites, because it mentions Amalek specifically, okay, in that 83rd Psalm. But it said the tabernacles of Edom, so that's all the Edomites, right? But it looked at those nations that went in complicit in this conspiracy against our forefathers, against the children of Israel on a whole, right? And don't we see Tyre mentioned there? So at that time, and this is 320 BCE when this jumped off. So at that time, the Tyrians, at least the head of them, they were still wiser than Daniel. You understand what I'm saying? Because these were your great mariners, and they had been hooked into Yah going back to the time of David, when Hiram was hooked up with David, the king that helped Solomon build that first temple. You follow what I'm saying? So it said they was wiser than Daniel. That's pretty wise, right? But now, I'm not doubting that you possibly had some, because now we talking what? We talking over 400 years later. You follow what I'm saying? When you start getting down there to 155 CEAD, we talking over like 450 years later. Even if you want to deal with 135 CEAD and you hook on 320 to that, huh? You follow what I'm saying? So we talking well into the future. Like I said, it could very well have been some Tyrians who was still on the scene, descendants of Heth, Hittites, right, who was still wise. But we know that the descendants of Esau, specifically these Amalekite Edomites, who were the illuminated ones, they were the wisest. You understand, the Tyrians might have been just as wise as them at that time, right? Because Esau's wisdom and understanding had been on the rise. See, and now you understand he's starting to come into his own. As we read on one of the Pal Talks, I read out of the Columbia Encyclopedia about Rome and about how the church came on the scene, how you had the bishops at first. There was no pope, okay? They were called bishops. They had so much power. But then, you follow what I'm saying? When you get further on into that Roman situation, the first empire of the fourth kingdom, you hear me? The first empire of the fourth kingdom. Now, you see when the church got more power, you understand? In the 5th century CEAD, when Rome was defeated by the Franks, who were Germans. See, I read that. You go back there and pull that one, and listen to it. And possibly, I know Yedita's listening, possibly next Sabbath, doing when everybody's up, not Sabbath night, Yedita, but you know what I mean? Sabbath morning, like, let's say around 10, 11, 12 o'clock, you'll put that one on, because I know you know which one that is. You'll put that one on and let people listen to it again. You tune in next Sabbath, and Yedita will probably play it. And then, you can listen to that one real good. And, but again, see, the illuminated Edomites, you understand, nobody exceeded them in wisdom and understanding. That's why when you read the one chapter of Body, when you read Yeshaya chapter 47, he's talking about them there. That's why in that 47th chapter of Yeshaya, in regards to the daughter of Babylon that they control, right? He said, your wisdom and knowledge has perverted thee, so that you did not what? Remember the latter end. Because they were illuminated. They knew all the way to what was going to happen until the book was fulfilled. But they forgot about that, this ending, Because they was busy, you understand? They was busy trying to rise to the dominion of the world. Like I said in this last session, we only talking about a very sparse amount of men, families. Okay, you understand? I said 7 and 9. You might not be talking but about 4 or 5 families now. All right, that's got the dominion, you know, a shared like dominion. But you got this one now that's characterized, you know, this head of the Rothschild family that's characterized in Yeshaya chapter 14. He wants to run everything, and all the rest of, you know, all the other Illuminati guys, where they have been working in concert. He wants to be the top dog. See, and Yah is bringing divisiveness amongst them, like they've done everybody else. What's next?
I thought it was 2.5 fins and scales and then
Okay, I thought tuna had fins and scales, but heard you say in a previous recording that it is unclean because it doesn't have scales. Tuna got a skin. It's unclean. It's a scavenger. What's next? What's that tuna supposedly what?
well, that's related to it. So
Okay. All right.
if you're in prison,
Okay. If you're in prison, are the elite still going to pick you up? I hear this laugh out loud. You said, but you serious, right? Again, it's not for the elite to pick you up. You can see, I've said this in the past. You can see this with Konya. In the case of Evil Mordecai. Okay? Konya spent 37 years in prison, and after 37 years in prison in Babylon, Evil Mordecai, who was then king over Babylon, raised him out of the prison and treated him, you know, good, set him at his table every day, gave him an allowance on a regular basis. All right? But now why, you know, why would that happen? Because over that course of that 37 years, you understand, Konya humbled himself toward Yah. And when Yah was assured that he was truly humbled, then he put the spirit in Evil Mordecai to bring him up out that dungeon. See? Simple as that. So the same thing applies to any brother or sister that's locked up. You know, our brothers and sisters over there in the Gaza, that's on, like the whole Gaza Strip is on lockdown by the Edomites. 1.5 million brothers and sisters, right? You got many more brothers and sisters over there in Israel, so-called Palestinians, that's locked up in prison. Literally, you know, locked up in prison and treated like animals. You follow what I'm saying? Just like the Gazians is treated like animals, right? They on lockdown. Again, the same thing about our brothers and sisters down in Brazil or in Colombia or Peru or wherever they are locked up. You follow what I'm saying? Here in America, you got, you know, like I said, the past, they say 2 million is over 2 million because they ain't counting all the Israelites. You follow what I'm saying? If they turn to Yah with all their heart and all their soul, I don't care if they in the deepest, darkest dungeon, you understand, locked down, solitary cell it is. If they turn to Yah with all their heart and soul and humble themselves with all their heart and soul, Yah will open up those doors and bring them out. See, we got to stop turning to man. That's what I just said in this last session. I touched on it, right? We got to stop turning to man. Okay? We got to turn to Yah. Okay? The brother last night, who I mentioned earlier, he told me, he said, Yehuda, he said, there's a lot of these brothers and sisters, Israelites, right? They know they're Israel, right? He said, and they changed their name to Israel, and they go into that sovereignty, you know, acceptance for value. What else they call it? They call it something else. You understand? That's the term he used, right? But it's all the same thing, right? Putting their name down on these things. You understand? Some of y'all out there probably know the term. It's called sovereignty or acceptance for value, but he used the third thing to depict it. But to me, but he said they changed their name to Israel and putting their names on there and think they're gonna get cut loose with that. Like that ain't even happening, cause you still going to man. You still dealing with man's nonsense. Okay, just like our brothers, the so-called Palestinians. Not all of them, but you got them ones of Fatah right? They going to the UN. Which one are you in for? That's Illuminati. That's Illuminati. That's, you know, Esau run that. He set that up. You still appealing to the same people that's got their foot up your behind. Okay? That ain't going nowhere. Because you still got these Israelites still trying to get around Yah. Just like you got all these other people of the world who's in the idolatry. I don't care if they Gentile, Hamite, Shemite, you understand what I'm saying? Edomite. You trying to get around Yah. You can't get around Yah. Salvation is through Yah, our righteousness, the King, and Him only. Now, simple as that. You're not getting salvation in any other way. That's why He's doing what He's doing on the people of the earth, making His judgment to rest for a light. Now, those who reject that light, you destined to destruction. And as I said on this last session, I've seen this happen to different ones. Many of you out there, if not all of you, you've seen it happen. Like I just mentioned this one earlier this year that many people know who I'm talking about. All right, he just died. The worms ate him up. You know, like I mentioned about that Shula on this last session. I know many of you, if not all of you, heard about that Shula when he built that big, what they call it, the Crystal Palace, all glass house church so many years back, right? What happened to him? He just died. What happened to him? The worms ate him up. Matter of fact, I don't think he's dead yet. He ain't dead yet, but they gave him 2 years tops. Top, you know, maybe, right? Because he's full of worms. They eating him up. And y'all got him where they eating him up slow. Now, he might live every one of them 2 years, suffering every day, 24/7. What's next? Okay, is it a sin to continue to do music? And is it wrong to impute Yah's truth in my music even when I receive money for it? Again, it's not wrong to do music. I mean, that's what the Psalms are. But it's what you're talking about. It's the message that you convey. Okay? And if you're putting forth a incorrect message, yeah, that's wrong. Simple as that. I don't care how much money you're getting for it. Now, if you're putting forth the message of Yah, and Yah is compensating you for that, hey, Yah bless. What else can I say? What's next? Yahuda, food stores in our neighborhoods. Have you seen Lauren Murray study on how we are targeted and being poisoned, bad unwanted meat sent to our food stores so they do not lose money? Again,
anything new about that?
Did you hear that? Hold on, everybody. Just hold on. Yeah, righteousness, peace. Okay, back. Again, this is nothing new. Did you hear Yada what she said? This is nothing new. This ain't just started. This been going on for a long time. A real long time. We've always gotten the worst of everything. Okay? Always. Okay? It's just more likely, you know, intensified now. Okay, like I said in this last session about the drugs, well, everything, they intensified everything on us. Okay, but this is nothing new. Okay, what's next? What do you know of original Aubrey text? I've never heard of it. Do we actually, I guess, actually have original pictorial language that we can rely on to translate back to ancient texts? But again, we're not going to get the pure language, okay? So find your chapter 3, starting at verse 8, till how we see that after the nuclear war. That's when y'all gonna turn us a pure language, you know? After the United States of America, the daughter of Babylon, is destroyed. Again, you remember chapter 25, verses 14 through 33. You see in that 33rd verse is gonna be slain bodies from one end of the earth to the other. Okay, when after that happens, that's when y'all gonna turn us a pure language. Before then, we're not gonna have a pure language. And as far as relying on this word, like I said a little while ago, Yah has made his righteousness be everywhere on the earth where it can be accessed from any and everybody. in over 2,000 languages. That's this King James Authorized Version. That's why that's the version that should be read, because Yah's put it at everybody's disposal if they so desire to read. Okay, that's what makes it the one to be read. But as far as the true language of Israel, we're not gonna get that until after, how, like I said, how we see it. Zephaniah chapter 3, starting at verse 8, until Yah has poured upon the nations the fear of his anger, and how we see that that's the nuclear war that's coming. Okay, at the fall and the destruction of the daughter of Babylon, United States of America, which, as it tells us in Yeshaya chapter 14, this country is going to start. And as I've spoken of before, I can see where, Yah's already moving America into that position, because again, many nations are against this country today. It's a lot of nations that, they hate America with a passion. Okay? And America's already crumbling. The dollar is basically it's almost worthless. You can still spend it up here in America, but don't nobody want that dollar outside of America. Okay, from what I understand, and I've been understanding this, I've been told this few years back. They don't want it in Mexico. Okay, you understand what I mean? They don't want it nowhere, but they got to take it up here in America. But they don't want it anywhere else. Okay. Next, when did the Israelites go into slavery in Jerusalem? Okay, the way I think you talking about, when did the descendants of Jerusalem go into slavery? I'm pretty sure that's what you mean. The descendants of Jerusalem. Well, again, that started in 606. Matter of fact, it even started before then. When you go to Shalom, the eldest son of Yoshua. Okay, he was taken by Pharaoh Necho down into Egypt. Okay. That's when the descendants of Jerusalem started to go into captivity. Jerusalem fell in 586 BCE. Okay, and it was another carried away, 584? I think it was 584 BC.
586.
No, I know about that one.
Oh.
I think it was one in 584. Nebuchadnezzar came back again and took some more out of Jerusalem, and around Jerusalem. Okay, what's next? What's this? Is it just me? I don't. Okay, I must be.
Oh, that's
talking
about something.
Y'all talking about something else? Okay. Okay. Does the Feast of Tabernacles start dark Monday night? Correct. Absolutely correct. Because Tuesday will be the 15th. Okay, so the Feast of Tabernacles, when it gets dark, as every 24-hour period begins with dark, right? Just like when it gets dark tonight, wherever we are out there, during the Sabbath day, when it gets dark, that's the end of the Sabbath day, beginning of the first day of the week. Okay, what's next? Okay. Just confirming they teaching saying otherwise. Well, what you saying there about the, thanks for about the pure language, but it's a lot of other teachers saying otherwise. Again, it's a lot of confusion out here, and it's a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of groups teaching things other than what we teach here at Yah Righteousness. I mean, many of us are teaching the same thing. One thing I think all these Israelites or groups, we all agree on, that we are the descendants of Israel. That it might stop there, as far as what we agree on. But I haven't seen or heard about any other groups teaching some of the things that's coming out of Yah Righteous. Like I just said, Daniel chapter 12, verse 11, 12, and 13. Daniel chapter 11, verse 36 through 12:10, how that's a vision dealing with the fourth kingdom, and that 11, 12, and 13 verse dealing with the daily sacrifice being stopped in 168 BCE by Antiochus Epiphanes, and Daniel being looked upon as a prophet sometime after 161, after the second temple was destroyed by Demetrius the First. Again, Daniel chapter 9, 24:5. in that chapter 4 Ezra, it shouldn't say Artaxerxes. Every place where you see Artaxerxes, it should say Cyrus. See, I don't know any other movement that's, Yah's bringing these things through. Now, that's why, I said any of y'all out there heard any other movement putting forth these things. I mean, Yedida, then communicate that to us here at Yah Righteousness. Yedida just mentioned to me here a few days ago, we were talking, and she was saying somebody is saying that, it was chapter 2, Genesis verse 7, that Yah gave Adam the law, Adam and Eve the law. And, she said they like, more or less the way she put it to me is like they claiming that, they always knew this. And she was telling me, she said, I don't believe it. She said, they got that from Yah Righteousness. She said, as far as I know, we the only ones that put that out. I said, well, it could be, but the main thing is, as long as they getting it right, you know what I mean? As long as they getting it right. See, if they saying the same thing we saying, they want to try to lay claim to it, it don't matter to me, as long as you get it right. The main thing is get Yah's message out right. All right? Because again, it ain't no argument, it ain't no fight about whether this is the movement of Yah. You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is in the book. Plain and simple as that. And like I said in this session, and about, what a person brought to me in the last session, how do you know you the governor? I mean, if you're not the governor, would you be cursed? Well, I'm already under a double curse, right? And I'm doing all I can to serve Yah, to please Yah, so he will relieve it as he is doing to a certain extent. But like he says in Yeshaya chapter 66, and I've mentioned this in the past, we're not going to be totally out from up under this curse, double curse, until we get to Jerusalem. And it says that in Yeshaya chapter 66. That's where we're going to be comforted. Totally comforted. Okay? And even when we get back, we got to go through a situation, you understand? Not long after we get back. That's over there in Micah chapter 5 as well, at the top. Because we're going to get attacked. It's also Zechariah chapter 12, chapter 13 that I was relating to the brother last night. Okay? What's next?
We in Jerusalem in 70 AD.
Okay, were we in Jerusalem 70 AD when it was sacked by Titus? Now, it was always some Israelites in Jerusalem, but we weren't called Israelites. At that time, we were captives. The people who were being called Israel were the descendants of Esau. They were the ones, as I just mentioned a little while ago, they were the ones rebelling continually, time and time again against Roman rule. That's why when you get to 135 CE AD and the Romans put down that rebellion that had been going on for 3 years from 132 to 135, led by Simon Bar Kokhba, who they were calling the Messiah. You follow me? That's why the Romans said, okay, we tired of your mess. Y'all got to get out of here, because if you don't, we're going to kill every one of you. Now, they didn't take them out, they put them out. You understand? In other words, the Romans told the Edomites, you can go wherever you want, but you got to get out of here. All right? Simple as that. Okay, what's next? How were we in captivity before slavery in America? 1600s. How were we in captivity before slavery in America? Well, again, I mean, we went into captivity, like I said, the bulk of the 10 tribes started to go into captivity in 722, 721 BCE. Jerusalem and Yehuda started to go into captivity, like I said a minute ago, you could say, with the first son of Yoshi, Shalom. And his family was taken down into Egypt. They never came back. And then Nebuchadnezzar, Yah brought Nebuchadnezzar in 606. And we started to be carried away in like about 4 different carried aways up into Babylon. All right? And from that point on, we were in captivity and under other people's dominion. Even when we came back to the land, you just go to the book of Nehemiah, go to the book of Ezra, okay, and read them. You follow what I'm saying? And again, remember, the first 6 chapters of Ezra is flashback. It's talking about Zerubbabel and them, but you can see they were still up under the Persians. Cyrus put a stop to the temple. Not only that, they were being harassed every day by the Edomites and the Ishmaelites and whoever else was in around the land, but definitely by Esau and Ishmael. Just like today. Okay? We under other people. We in captivity. We have no power until we return to our power. And again, what does the name Israel mean? We've spoken of that before. That's in the Pal Talks, right? Huh? He who has power with the strong one. Because when we with the strong one, and the strong one is Yah, there is no other. And when we are with him, in total harmony with him, totally committed and submitted, he's our power. Is there a greater power in the universe? I know not of any. And as you know, I've mentioned before in one of the Pal Talks not long ago, if I remember correctly, you go to Daniel chapter 7, down at the bottom. You follow what I'm saying? And near the end of that chapter. And Yah's talking about, he's going to return our power to us. You know, that's when we're going to come into full-blown power. When it says, hold on. It says in verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Huh? See? And again, it's another place where it talks about, it's like our horn, Yah returns our power. It escapes me right now. I've mentioned it in the past. Maybe Yeshai or Yedida, they can remember. It just escapes me at the point, where it is, where it mentions about the horn of our power, if I'm not mistaken. But again, that's when we come into our full-blown power, when we get back. All right? In the sense of, you'll see it in Yeshaya. In other words, when we become that beacon on the hill. What's that? Yeshaya chapter 30? You know what I mean? When we become the light to the world. All right? And that's intimated in chapter 30, Yeshaya. I'll pick it up at verse 15. For thus saith the Lord Yah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. And you would not. See, that's our forefathers. And many of us today who won't, right? Now verse 16, but you said no, for we will flee upon horses. That's our forefathers, right? And again, many of us are still fleeing, right, from Yah and the law. Therefore shall you flee. Yah said, they would flee, and we will ride upon the swift. That's what our forefathers said. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. In other words, Yah is communicating, no matter how fast your horses, your chariots, you're not going to be able to outrun, you understand, this curse that I'm putting on you. So you're not going to be able to outrun those who pursue you. Right? Who Yah was bringing on us. All right, verse 17. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. See, that Yah done turned it around now. See, in the time of David, one Israelite, you understand, the time of David in the front part of Solomon, one Israelite could put 1,000 to flight. You follow me? Because Yah was doing that. See? Because, Israel, when they were in harmony with Yah, their rock, had sold the opposition into their hand. But now, Yah is talking about how he was going to flip it around. When we went adverse to Yah and started worshiping idols and images and persisted into that and wouldn't come back to Yah, you see what I'm saying? He flipped it around and made 1,000 of us flee at the rebuke of one of the opposition. You see what I'm saying? And you see what he goes on to say? He says, till you be left, huh? Matter of fact, 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 shall you flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain and as an ensign on a hill. And that's what we go back to be. See, because after we go back, like I said a minute ago, we got to go through some adversity. Because when we start destroying all of those idols and images in Jerusalem, to cleanse Jerusalem of all idolatry, why? So that Yah's, this third and last temple can be built atop Mount Moriah. that the sacrifice is going to be put on? Well, when we start dismantling these idols and images, specifically when we start dismantling that Dome of the Rock and El-Asa, we're going to get attacked by the Assyrians that they called Iraq. See? That's what you see in Micah chapter 5. Okay? We're going to get attacked. That's what you see in Zechariah chapter 12 and chapter 13. And as you see at the bottom of chapter 13, you understand when Yah says, smite the shepherd and the sheep shall be scattered? Huh? And 2/3 of the people in the land gonna die, because 2/3 of the people who gonna be in and around Jerusalem in the land, they're not gonna be about Yah. So Yah gonna destroy them at the hand of these Iraqis or Assyrians when they come into the land. See? At our dismantling of the Dome of the Rock and the El-Asa. But you see what it says there at the back end of Zechariah 13? He said, but 1/3 is going to say, Yah is my stronghold. And Yah's going to say, and these are my people. And that third he's going to bring through that fire. And that's the third that's going to be the beacon on the hill, the light to the world, the ensign. See? That's when we come definitely into our full-blown power, because now, you understand, as Yah say, now he has seen with his eyes. In other words, because he knows, not that he doesn't know now, because everything's before Yah, but that's when not only will those of us really know who's about Yah, and again, the ones who come back in this Yah righteousness movement, they're going to all be about Yah. Because again, we know others are going to come out with us of Israel who are not going to be about Yah. Maybe even some other people of other nationalities who's really not about Yah. They're going to come out with us too, saying they're about Yah. But again, Ezekiel chapter 20, 32 through 38, they're going to come out with this movement, but they ain't going to make it to the land. Because Yah going to get rid of them. Because in their heart, they're rebels and transgressors. Okay? Simple as that. See, like I said in the past, you cannot stay on this path unless you really about the Most High. If you really not about the Most High, Yah gonna purge you. Your own desire, your own ways is gonna purge you off of this path. Simple as that. See? And again, you understand when people say, well, how you gonna know? You don't know. You ain't around everybody. These people you never even met in the flesh that's in this room today, the ones that called. You right. I ain't got it. It ain't about me being there watching it. You got to understand. Yah see everything. Everything is before Yah. He feel heaven and earth. He's the one that all of us, you understand, have got to serve. He's the one all of us has got to please. It's nothing that he doesn't see. And like I said, you've been reading the book. You know what it says in the book. For instance, he just popped into my mind. Just go to the book of Ezekiel and see when he took Ezekiel back to Jerusalem in spirit and showed him what, you understand, children of Israel at the time who was still in and around Jerusalem that was dealing with the temple, the Levites, what they was doing inside the temple that they thought they was doing in secret and nobody saw them. But Yah see it all. So that's who's watching you. Okay? And he knows what you've been about, what you've been doing, and what you haven't been doing. Simple as that. See, because like I said before, when it comes time to leave him, when Yah humbles them a leak, when he drives these Edomites out and judges them within the next couple of years, that's when many people going to know without unequivocally the arm of Yah. That's what these Gentiles, that's what these kings and queens, that's what they watching. Like I told you before, Yah hasn't taken their understanding. They're not stupid. They're not fools. They got their wisdom and understanding. You understand? They knowledgeable. They watching this. See, he said he was going to take all of Esau, all the Edomites' wisdom and understanding. Illuminati from the least to the greatest. You understand? From the Illuminati Edomite all the way down to the least of the Edomites. He's taking their wisdom and understanding. Not the kings, not the queens, not Gentiles. All right, you got many of them who got understanding. They watching this thing. They've been contacted. They're looking. Like I said, look at Yeshaya chapter 52 at the bottom. The king should shut their mouths at him, for that which has not been told them shall they see, that which they have not heard shall they consider. They've been in consideration mode now for the last 9 years. They watching. Okay? They more likely listening too. And when these Edomites get run out and judged, that's the trigger. Huh? That's the trigger. That's when the light floods in. That's when they gonna come and get y'all's arm. See? All right. Things is bad now. They're gonna be worse when it gets to that point in the world. And then when they come, then you're gonna have different Israelites, right? Like I said in the past, who been, you know, not in harmony with this message, throwing stones at this message, right? You understand what I'm saying? Doing what they want to do. Got some Judaism mixed in with the way of y'all. Got some Christianity mixed in with the way of y'all, right? Or just not doing, or got their own isms mixed in with the way of y'all, right? But when they see these, look, you know, these kings, these queens, these elite come and get y'all's movement, and the call goes out, 51-7 Yeshai, for all in whose heart is y'all's law, they gonna come. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Okay? And when we read that, Ezekiel chapter 20, 32 through 38, you gonna see some of them who's standing there with us, they gonna peel away. They gonna peel away. You gonna say, well, I ain't quite ready yet. You understand? Some of them gonna face the truth. They gonna like, yeah, because they gonna feel y'all. They gonna peel away. They gonna like, well, I ain't quite ready yet, so I'll come later. But you gonna have some who's hard-hearted, stiff-necked, think they slick, know they have been in actual harmony with this message. They gonna stay. They gonna say, I ain't gonna know. I'm gonna get through. You understand? And at some point between here and the land, y'all gonna get rid of them. They not gonna be there with us when we get back. If they are, they gonna, like I said before, they gonna be like R.C. Davis and get on the bus. When the bus pulled up in D.C., he's sitting in the seat dead, because they think they slick, and y'all gonna deal with them. See? And we gonna witness this. See? It's confirmation and substantiation all along the way. That's why Yah says, what in 55 Yeshaya? I've given him for what? A witness. Huh? Doesn't it say that in 55 Yeshaya? I've given him for a witness. Okay? Leader and commander to the people. Right? Doesn't it tap on that leader commander situation in chapter 50, Yeshaya? Who walks in darkness and has no light and obeys the voice of my servant? Let him put his trust in the name of Yah and stay upon his throne, his God. Right? What's next?
What were you just talking about? That question? How would we...
Again, when Yah just asked me, did I answer the question? How were we in captivity before slavery in America? I just said at the top of when I started, we went into captivity. We went into slavery, if you will, in 722, 721. In what was that when Shalom was taken down? 609. All right? 606. 597. 586. 584. Okay, from that point on, we was in captivity. We was under other people. So if you will, you using the term slavery, you got captivity there. We was up under other people. We was under other people's dominion. It started all the way back there. See, these people, listen, evidently, Gabriel, Michael, Yisrael, okay? So everybody knows this is who I'm talking about. If they ain't looking at this screen. You've been listening to these other movements out here. Like we got some here in Chicago, and they talk about how when we came to the shores of America, we knew we was Israel. That's a bunch of crap. And you heard it from here. And when you talk to any of them that's putting forth that message, you can tell them what I said, and if they want to, you can call here with them, and I'll deal with it on the phone with them, in person, eyeball to eyeball. That's a bunch of crap. Okay? We had long been in the captivity, long and unknowledgeable of who we were long before they brought us here to these Americas, till they brought, when they brought us to this side of the world. And again, I just take you there to Yeshaya chapter 6. And then when you read Yeshaya 6, okay, when Yah said, leave their eyes open but don't let them see, make their ears heavy but don't let them hear, and make their hearts fat, where they can't understand unless they see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand in their heart, and convert, like Solomon said in his supplication, right? He said, if y'all, if we sin and you kick us out the land and scatter us into the nations, at some point, if we bethink ourselves and turn back toward this city, toward this house that I built for thy name, and return unto thee. The only way you can return to Yah is return to this law with all your heart and soul. Deuteronomy 30, verse 2 and 3. All right? What Moses said to our forefathers before he died, before they went into the land of Canaan. That's how you return to Yah, returning to this law and becoming totally compliant, submissive to it. All right? And what did Solomon say? Then hear in heaven and forgive and bring us back. That's conversion. That's converting. You hear me? That's converting. Right? And that's why Yah told Yeshua, he said, lest they see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and convert, that they can be healed. And when he told Yeshua that, you just go there and read it. Yeshua hollered. He said, oh, Yah, how long? How long you going to have us like that? And what did Yah say? Till men have been removed far away. And it's a great forsaking in the midst of the land. All right, I've talked about this before. No problem, right? We in the daughter of Babylon, United States of America, you can't get no further away from the land of Israel and still be on earth other than being here in the daughter of Babylon. This is the hindermost of the nations. And it says that over in Jeremiah, chapter 50-51. It says the hindermost of the nations. So we the farthest away you can be from the land and be on earth. Okay? And what do we see that's going on in the land right now? Our brothers and sisters are under horrific duress. Didn't I just mention about the Gaza? They got 1.5 million Israelites, so-called Palestinians on lockdown, open air prison. They got another so many, hundreds of thousands. I don't forget the number. It's a bunch of them. Okay, that's locked up in prisons over there. Okay, just like we locked up in prisons over here. They under horrific duress. Okay, they killing them, they mock them, humiliating them, treat them like worse than animals every day over there. So what? Not only them, like I just said on this last session, Benjamin and them, they under harsh duress now. Harsh duress. Do you understand? Like I just said, you look at that Max Blumenthal interview on Democracy Now! October the 4th and see what he said these up-and-coming young Edomites is doing and what they saying in these political leaders of these Edomites, these young ones who's in the Knesset over there and want, and see what they saying about the so-called Africans. You know they talking about the dark-complected ones of us, right? Bitter men there, the Ethiopian Israelites, right? And there's some other Israelites over there that's over there in that area that ain't with bitter men now. You understand? Look what they say. The African presence is a cancer on the Jewish state. They under harsh duress. So now I take you back to Yeshua chapter 6. When Yeshua asked Yah, how long you gonna have us like this? Again, what did Yah respond? Until the men have been removed far away. Okay, we over in the daughter of Babylon. You can't get no further. And what does it say? And it's a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Isn't it? Isn't it? So he's saying that basically Israel would be what? Walking dead. Walking dead. Now, let's just get some more clarity. Okay? I was born in 1950. November 1950. That's when I was born. Right? When did the Edomites over in the land run the so-called Palestinians, the bulk of them up out of there? Killed a bunch of them and ran the rest, the bulk of them up out of there. When did this happen? 1948. That's a great forsaking, isn't it? Okay? You understand? And again, go to Hosea chapter 6 at the top. After 2 days, Yah would revive us. That 2 days is 2,000 years. And as we said in the past, we started to awake in 1896. William Crowdy in New York started to teach we was Israel. I'm not talking about Judaism. Okay? Yeah, Edomites, you had different ones of us talking about they was into Judaism. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about us awakening to the fact that we Israel. Okay? That's 1896. All right? So now you add 104 on to the 1896, you get your 2000. So that's like 104 BCE. All right? So when they started bringing us over here to this side of the world in like 1442, 1492, we had long been cut off. Didn't know we was Israel. So all of these different movements talking about we knew we was Israel when they brought us over here, but they took our understanding from us. That don't even make sense. How can human beings take your understanding from you? They don't have that kind of power. Only y'all can do that. Okay, what's next?
Did you want to deal with Deuteronomy 28, 320 BCE when we were taken into Eden?
Hold on, y'all is asking me something. Deuteronomy 28 when we were what?
Taken into Eden in 320 BC.
Taken into what?
Africa.
They were already in Eden, but technically, I already touched on that. Okay. And again, that's not when it started. I mean, it started in 104 BCE. It's 2,000 years. Again, let me just, since y'all have said this, it's 2,000 years we would be cut off and not be able to understand who we were. And that ended in 1896. Again, Hosea chapter 6. In the third day, Yah said he would raise us up and we would live in his sight. That's when it began, in the third 1,000 years. Okay? And as it says, then we shall know if we follow on to serve Yah, because you got to make a decision. And that's what's going on right now. I mean, we've been able to go to Yah and come to Yah for the last 117 years. But we still in captivity. And you done had different ones of us been knowing they was Israel since 1896. But here we are, still in captivity in a horrendous state wherever we are, per se, right? As a people. Okay? Why is that? Just think about it. Why is that? We've talked about this before. That's why I say, people are always saying to me, Yehuda, when you going to do the next one? When you going to do the next one? We got, like I said to Yedida Yeshaya, and possibly others, Yeremia, we got enough stuff up right now that if, Yah stopped it, because if it gets stopped, that's who's stopping it. If Yah stopped it right now, it's plenty of stuff up for people to go and access and read and study the book, and with what Yah's brought out for them to get to Yah, understand, all about these religions and the ways of man, and to be totally beamed in on Yah. All the people got to do is apply themselves. Go there, because it's some. You understand? Like I know that's Feel Real, for instance. Okay? And he a Gentile. He's up right now. I know he's in there. I haven't looked. Let me see. I saw him earlier. I know it's him. I'm not seeing him now. I don't know if he left. Okay? No, there he is. Alright? He's listening right now. Now he a Gentile. He told me, he said, I listen to everything that y'all put up. Okay? He said he listened to it every day. Thoroughly. That's why he in this room. I saw him when he came in. He been there ever since. Okay? And there's some other ones in this room, been here since the beginning. There's other ones that might not be here at the beginning, but they listen to everything we put out. And they listen to it meticulously. And that's what you got to do. And they read. And they study. They pray and they do. That's what you got to do. See? So when people always, when you going to do the next, when you going to do the next? And are you listening to what we've done? Have you really gone in and listened to what's already out there? Thoroughly? Continuously? Continually? Thoroughly? See? Simple as that. Because again, why is y'all doing this? It's not to uplift me. It's not to uplift Yeshaya, Yedida, Yada, or others that's in this movement. You know, it's to uplift him. And he's doing it what? Why? Because you don't have the time that it's taking me to get to this spot. You don't have 40 years. Okay? I've said this before. All right? You ain't got 40 years. So Yah is hastening it. Putting it as, you know, making it as accessible as possible. Making it as plain as possible. Right? Because, I mean, you know, just listen to me like I said a little while ago, okay? I mean, you know, some people might say, yeah, you don't even speak English too good, you, and you'd be right, okay? You follow what I'm saying? I do the best I can do, but I'm not Howard Cosell. For all you out there know what I'm talking about. I don't, you know, sometimes I might pull out a $25 word, right? Because, I mean, and I don't do it trying to impress. It just, y'all brings it to me, so I say it. You follow what I'm saying? But I do my best to make it as plain as possible, to use those $2 words, them $2.50 words, okay? That everybody can understand, to make it real plain. Why is this? So that nobody has an excuse. The reason why they don't understand the thing. Why you think we do these things? You know, why you think we do the Q&As? I remember when we did, I think it was the second or third Q&A we did last year, and people was like asking questions, and then I didn't get to it quick enough for them, you know, because I'm taking them in order, and somebody said, oh, you ain't gonna answer that, and I remember it was Yedida, and some popped in there, he gonna answer the question, just wait a minute, he gonna get to it, you okay? I'm not ducking, dodging anybody. This is about Yah, it ain't about me. Okay? I serve the King. He who creates. Found the living water, spirit creator of all things. What I got to be afraid of people about? I'm afraid of him. Okay? And what he'll do to me if I don't do what I'm supposed to do. But the point being is, why you think Yah's doing this? So that people will have access to this illumination, to aid and abet them to being able to see this thing clearly. That they can do what? Make a true decision. That's why we do this. What's next? Okay, what time frame would, you know, the temple is the primary situation, because Yah is primary. Yah is first and last. He you know, Yah's first all the time. Everything about Yah is primary, and this temple is primary. And again, because that's Yah's house for him to dwell in. And again, we cannot get cleansed. Our blood can't get cleansed. Okay? And I was just praying about this earlier today, right? Our blood cannot get cleansed until that temple's built. He's not going to start creating a new heavens and a new earth until this temple is built. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 47, Ezekiel 47, the healing waters, right? Yoel 3:21, right? When he's going to cleanse our blood that has not been cleansed. And another place that escapes me right now where he said he's going to, you know, open up a fountain for uncleanness. Okay, that's primary. And why is that? So when we get back, you understand? You go to Malachi 3 at the top, right? Yah's coming to his house. When that temple is built and completed, he's coming to his house. When them sacrifices start up, he coming to his house. In the cloud. Okay? In the cloud. See? That's how he lets us know he's come in. Like you see back there with Moses and them, he come in the cloud. Like you see with Solomon, when they finished the temple, he came in the cloud. The priests couldn't even minister. They had to come up out of there. Okay? He comes inside the cloud because he ain't going to let you see him. Right? That's how we know he comes, because we see the cloud. But he's inside it. And he's going to dwell in his temple atop Mount Moriah in the midst of the children of Israel. And then when that happens, he's going to bring, you know, them healing waters. That's when he's going to start cleansing our blood that has not been cleansed. Once we get that purified blood, that's when he's going to start bringing forth what? The holy children, males and females. And those holy children, when you read that 59th chapter, Yeshaya, down there at the bottom, what does it say? Yah said his covenant with us is that when he bring forth these holy children, his words is going to be in their mouth forever. And his word's gonna be in our seed's mouth forever. So that means what? Yah is gonna always be his kingdom gonna exist, just like you saw there in Daniel chapter 7 at the end, forever and ever. The saints are gonna possess the kingdom forever and ever. And whose dominion is an everlasting dominion? Whose dominion? Yah's dominion. See? So this temple is primary. And again, once we get back and start dismantling all that idolatry, we're going to get attacked. That's not going to last long. That's going to be relatively quick. And when the dust settles, that's when we'll be the beacon on the hill, the light to the world. It'll be without a doubt in anybody's mind. Because it's going to be that when we leave up out of here. Just go to 52 Yeshai. What does it say? All of the watchmen, Yah said he has said all of the watchmen. And he says what? They going to see eye to eye when he brings again Zion. See? All the watchmen, they're going to be in agreement. Yeah, that's it. Huh? Because when these elite come, these representatives of the elite, kings, queens, princes, if they don't come in person. You understand what I mean? When the people of the world see that, that's when they're going to, what else can they say then? But yeah, that's it. Those are the representatives of the Most High. Huh? What does it say there in 61 Yeshai? The people gonna say what? These are the ministers, the priests of the Yah of hosts, the Most High. Everybody that see us, everybody that see our children that we have, they gonna say this is the seed that Yah is blessed. Everybody gonna be in agreement. See? And then it's gonna underscore it when we get attacked, and then Yah drives them, these Assyrians, the Iraqis out. And when that happens, that's when, the elite gonna come. They're gonna send everything we need. They're gonna build that temple. And it's gonna be immaculate. It's gonna make the temple that Solomon built look like a shack. Now that's over there in Haggai chapter 2. Just go read it. Okay? What's next? And again, the last war, that's the last battle. Ezekiel 38 and 39 chapter, that's the last battle. Y'all gonna fight that one. Okay? I was just talking about that, yesterday, you know what I'm saying? They gonna say, you understand, are we? Because see, look, when we get back, y'all's gonna, in the way I see it, like I was telling the person yesterday or last night, because he basically asked the same thing. Might be him that's asking this, but see, when we get back, when this situation happens, before we even get back with Esau, okay, when Esau gets run out and judged, the way I see, that's when y'all's going to start those waters, the water coming from the ground, water in the land of Israel that has not been watered since, understand, even before we were taken off of it, per se, in bulk. Because we were in idolatry, so Yah was bringing drought. Just like he's bringing drought on the world right now. You follow me? On the world. Okay? So when Esau gets run out and judged, Yah's going to start those waters. Starting to water the land. Getting it ready for him to come back, represented by his arm. And then when we get back, right? Then after we go through this little quick situation with the Iraqis, the Assyrians, then he's going to be watering the land, and he's going to bring the land back. It's going to be pretty rapid. See, all this is in haste. It ain't going to be no long time, all right? And he's going to be watering the land. The land going to start to revive. That's when we're going to start getting all growing all of the best food. We're going to have the best food on the planet. Ain't going to be no GMOs over there with us. Because like Yah said, he going to be like a wall of fire around the nation of Israel, all right? Around the land. He ain't gonna let no GMOs get in there. You understand what I mean? Any of that GMO pollen that's flying, when he get over there near the border of Israel, y'all gonna kill it before it even come up in there. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm talking about. Those of you who really can see this thing, man, I'm telling you, that's why Yah, he's everything. Okay? He's everything. You follow what I'm saying? He's the only one can shield us and protect us. You dig what I'm saying? From all this nonsense, from all this garbage. That's why Yah has had me here, and now Yah for the last over 20 years, but had me here on this corner in Auburn, Gresham, with drugs and everything, prostitutes, right, shootings and everything, but none of that touches here on this corner. It happened across the street, you understand, on one of these other corners, but not on this northeast corner of 81st and Paulina, 80th and Paulina, at the corner of 81st and Paulina, all right? On the southwest side of Chicago. It don't touch here. You understand? That's why he's kept it, so he can show his power, show his might. And again, any of you others out there, you understand, that's in harmony with y'all without your heart, he protecting you too. You can testify. Some already have to me. And he's showing us his power now. That's why he said in 55 Yeshaya, I've given him for a witness. See, that's what I said earlier on this past session, right? And I've spoken on it before. It's others who have, it's people who have risen up against me over the years. They are not, it's some of them no longer on the earth. Hold on. All right, okay. Somebody, called, wanted to disrupt me. Maybe it's Esau, okay? You understand what I mean? But again, you understand, you witnessed Yah's power. That's why he's doing what he's doing. He's showing us now. He's refining us. He's preparing us for the time to come, okay? That's why again, he's building us up. He's strengthening us. You see what I'm saying? Just like he did Dawid. Back there when Dawid was, you understand, he is a teenager, right? He about 17, maybe 18 years old. He out there keeping them sheep. He might even been about 16. Okay? He keeping them sheep, right? And when the lion came and he saw the tracks and he saw 2 or 3 of the sheep was missing, he's like, uh-oh, lions coming feeding on the herd. So you know what he did? He said a prayer to Yah, and he went out there and tracked that lion down and killed that lion, and he knew that Yah gave that lion into his hand. A little bit later, here come a bear. He saw the tracks. 2 or 3 of the sheep is missing. He like, man, because he got to go out there and get them, because if he don't, they won't have no herd, all their money eaten up. You understand what I'm saying? See, so he all their food's eaten up, so he got to go get it. So he said another prayer to Yah. That's what he did. Maybe 2 or 3 prayers, right? He went on out there, tracked that bear down, and killed that bear. Yah gave that bear into his hand. And in the process of these 2 situations, you understand, Dawid had been what? Strengthened in Yah. And Yah's doing the same thing with us. Wherever we are, those of us who turned in with all our heart and soul. Okay? That's why we have to go through some of these situations, these adverse situations that we go through. Yah's making that happen to what? To refine us, to prepare us for the time to come. Strengthening us, letting us know that when we take refuge in him, we run into his bosom, we run up under the shadow of his wing, we stand up and look at this adversity in the eye and say, Yah is my strength and my shield. What's the problem? You understand what I'm saying? See? And then he had whoever it is, they like change. Okay? Just like the sister we mentioned the other day. The sister told me, she said, the police was messing with her husband, and she came down off the porch, and she said, what you doing? He ain't doing nothing, and police is talking crazy, and said, we're going to arrest him. She said, you know that ain't right. And said, you better be quiet. She said, Yah watching you. Yah's watching what you doing. You know this ain't right. As soon as she said Yah like that to him, they totally changed. Let her husband go, let her go. They went back in the house, up on the porch. Police got in their car and went on. See, we got to use Yah. We got to learn how to use Yah. He our weapon. And we got to learn how to wield him. That's why those of us who give ourselves to him, he's teaching us this word, his righteousness. Okay? He's refining us, preparing us. Why? For the time to come. When you go to that Zechariah chapter 12, what does it say there? Doesn't it say at the situation when we get attacked? Doesn't it say you see that bitter men them? Them brothers of Yahudah. They're going to fight at Jerusalem that day. They're going to fight for Yah. They're going to be like fire amongst the sheep. You understand what I mean? They're going to fight for Yah. They're going to fight with sling stones. And what does it say? The most feeble of us going to be like David that day. And the house of David going to be like the angel of Yah before the people. Why? Because we're going to be strong in Yah. What are Benjamin and them going to say that day? They're going to say, what did Yah say? The governors of Yahudah are going to say in their heart now, in the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and their strong one is our strength. So Yah is preparing us now, because we can't shake. We can't blink. He's preparing us for the time to come. And not only that time, he's preparing us for these children after he cleanses our blood that is not being cleansed. Huh? And then starts to impregnate, when we have intercourse with our wives. He's going to impregnate them with these children, so that these children can be conceived, these children can be born, these children can be raised. What? In the fear of Yah. And they go to be something to see. What's next? Again, where can I read about the second gathering to come? Yeshaya chapter 11, Yeshaya chapter 2, Jeremiah chapter 50 at the top, right at the top, Micah chapter 4, Yeshaya chapter 35 at the back end of the chapter, when Yah says he's going to set up a highway, the unclean shall not pass over it, but though they be fools, they shall not err therein. Those are the ones coming in the second gathering. In Yeshaya chapter 11, it's called the second gathering. He said he's going to reach out and gather a second tag. Okay? What's next? When the call goes out, are we permitted to bring anything with us, as in the book of Exodus? Well, I'm sure you're going to have some things, but I don't know about furniture. I don't know about furniture, okay? And it'd be, your clothes. And again, you're not going to want to take any of these westernized clothes with you. Because, it's going to get to a point where y'all's going to kill anybody in the land that's wearing strange apparel. That's in the book too. It escapes me right now where it is. Maybe y'all to look it up and find it. Apparel is the word. And some of you out there might know where that is right off, right? But yeah, you wouldn't want to take any Western garments with you. That's why, we've said at different times, do your best. I would say, get you at least 2-3 garments that's got your fringe and ribbon of blue, no collars, okay? So that you at least have 2-3 changes. You know what I mean? When you leave it, you got one on, you got a couple in the bag, at least. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you got to be no clothes horse, right? And have 50 changes, you know what I mean? But you go, you do good having at least about 3. I would say 3 is a cord, right? Because you can be wearing one and you can get over there and take that and I'll put on another one and wash that one. And then when the other one, the second one, then you put on the third one. And when that one, you can go back to the first one again until you get some more things made. But, I would, like I said, I don't see us taking no furniture with us. It definitely ain't going to be no TVs. You follow what I'm saying?
No computers either.
Yeah, computers either. You hear yada? No computers either. Because look, all of this stuff man has come up with got to go out. When, just go to Daniel chapter 2. You understand? The stone is already cut out. The stone's already hitting the image, you understand, of the 4 kingdoms. It's done blown the feet and toes to bits. It sends shockwaves all up through the image cracking up and crumbling. That's what we witnessing. All right? And everything that was created from the head of gold down to them feet Toast Pot of Empire invention that was invented got to go out when these four kingdoms go out. That's why, again, we've said, you know, Christianity got to go out. Islam got to go out. Buddhism got to go out. Hinduism got to go out. Scientology's got to go out. You follow me? Because all that crap come in at some time during them four kingdoms. So when the four kingdoms go out, that got to go out with it. The same thing with the inventions. The iPod, the computer, the TV, the radio, all that stuff going out. Okay? And don't think we're going to, you know, be living in caves. Don't go there either. All right? Because you, like I said, you don't know what y'all got in store. You understand what I mean? We're going to have it better. Just know this and understand this. It's going to be 1,000,000 times better. We're going to have it in the way of y'all than we got it now. Maybe 1,000,000,000 times, trillion times better. Okay, what's next? Okay, are the so-called lost books or the Apocrypha for our enlightenment? No, like I said, the only thing in that Apocrypha is that in the first Maccabees, they let out some history that you need to help you crack Daniel 9, 26 and 27 verse. You know, the last half of the 26th verse and verse 27. That's the only good, and you know, you can see with the Edomites, you know, because that's who wrote it, and they trying to, you know, segue themselves into our position as being Israel. But in doing it, in their zeal, they reveal some historical value there. Other than that, you know, I went all through the Apocrypha, and you know, I've had the books of Josephus or Edomite. You know, they're gonna tell you that in that covertmessiah.com. You understand that he was Edomite? I already knew that. I had all the works of Josephus one time. I went through them. I took them out the library. You wasn't supposed to. I took them anyway. I had them for about 1.5 years, and then I took them back. Okay. But the Apocrypha, you know, like I said, that book of Enoch, book of Jasher, book of what's the other one? Jubilees, all that's Esau crap. Waste of time. What's next? Are we punished the same for all sins? No, you ain't punished the same for all sins. Read the book. You know, for different sins you get punished differently. Some sins warrant death. Some sins only warrant a whipping. Not to exceed 40 stripes.
Or sacrifice.
Okay, definitely, you know, you offer up a sacrifice, all depending on what it was. Okay? You know, it's only them Christians that teach all of that, you know, sin brings death. You know, all sin brings death. That's stupid. You know? What's next? See, I think he passed something, didn't he? Huh?
No.
Okay. What are the requirements of the Feast of the Tabernacles? Feasting, resting, permitted to go out and stay? Yeah, well, Feast of Tabernacles, if we were in the land, it'd be one big party every day for 7 days. 15th through the 21st. And then the 22nd day, you understand, it'd be a solemn assembly. We all gather up before the temple, going out, far as probably the eye can see. You understand what I mean? And we would sing more than likely psalms, you know, songs. Definitely be some reading in the book, probably some historical data, you know, to show Yah's goodness that he's extended toward us, you know, time and time again. A solemn assembly, and then after the solemn assembly probably be a feast, you know, we eat, and then after that, that's the end of the Feast of Tabernacles. So now you follow what I'm saying? You know, the first day, the 15th day, the 22nd day, the last day, those are holy convocations. You gather around this word, whether you by yourself or whomever in your family who's with you, you gather around this word, you read something. You discuss some things in this book. Okay? You read something, even if you can't discuss, you read something. That's the holy convocation. The only thing holy on this earth is Yah's word. So convocation means to gather around it. So whether you by yourself or whomever you with, you understand, you get together, you read something. Or you read something on your own. That's the holy convocation. Simple as that. Okay? And no servile work. No servile work. That means you don't work a job. Okay? You don't work a job. You break that yoke in that regard. You can cook, you know, and all that. You can go out, but you break that yoke. You know what I mean? You don't go to no servile job, you know, where you working for somebody. That's what servile means. What's next? Okay, is Jeremiah 3:14 talking about the first or a second movement, or both? Wait a minute. You read me 3:14.
Turn or black Sunday children said they are Brian married into your mother to be one of the city and two of the family.
Oh, well, it's talking about now. It's talking about now, right now. Okay? What's next? Yahuda, is it possible to get a list of how you put your cleanses together? You put out some good information on Pal Talk session, just not sure if my formulation is correct. Thanks, bro. Well, again, basically all these health food stores, they got cleanses. Some of them have 2 or more cleanses, at least they have 1. It all depends on, which one you want to deal with. Like I've said, it always involves psyllium husk and a cathartic, whether it be, we either use Cascara Sagrada, which is a Native American cathartic. They were deep in the Cascara Sagrada, or aloe. What Solomon talks about, how he cleansed himself with myrrh and aloe. Aloe powder is a strong cathartic. And you would take psyllium husk in the morning together with a couple of vegetarian capsules or just straight without any, that's why I take it now. Not in capsules at all, but about the content of 2 double ot vegetarian capsules of either Cascara Sagrada or aloe. And you do that in the morning with the psyllium husk, and in the afternoon, and then in the evening. If it's too strong, okay, if you start griping, then just cut the one out in the afternoon. You just do it in the morning and in the evening. And then the one that we were doing, that I had been doing for some years, and when Yana and I hooked up, then she was doing it too. We squeeze up 64 ounces of grapefruit juice, orange juice, and with maybe about 3 ounces of squeezed up lemon. Okay, and then you make about 64 ounces of that. Those 3 things, and then you dilute it with another 64 ounces of pure water. Altogether, that's a gallon. Okay, and you've got to drink a gallon like that every day for 7 days, and you take that psyllium husk, like I said, either 2 to 3 times a day with the cathartic. 2 double eye caps, either 2 or 3 times a day with the psyllium husk, and you get some liquid minerals. Okay, with abundance of minerals in it, liquid, and you drink about 8 ounces of that twice a day. Like in the morning and in the evening, because that helps balance. Because when you start cleansing, that's all you taking every day. You're not taking anything else. Okay, and that's for 7 days. And that might sound easy, but it ain't that easy. You got to get your mind right to do it. Okay, and you do that for 7 days. And like I said, once you get past like the first couple of days, you're pretty cool then. All right, because the body doesn't start purging until that 4th day. I'm telling you, if you do it like I just told you, do it right. When you get to that 4th day, you're gonna be wondering what's coming out. You're gonna be wondering where it's coming from, but it's gonna be peeling off your colon. All right, and again, you start getting yourself prepared to do that about 3 or 4 days before you actually go into it. And what I mean by that, you start eating light. Veggies, no flesh. You know what I mean? If you're gonna eat some, just some steamed fish or baked fish, light. You follow me? But you eating vegetables, you eating some fruit. Cause see, when you go on this cleanse, that's all you dealing with is that drink, a gallon of that every day for 7 days, and you're cleansing. See, cause it's all about cleanse. So you detoxifying. Okay, and if you've never detoxified, you got some years on you, let's say 30 or more years. I don't know what your situation is, but You understand what I mean? You got some stuff on your colon. You understand? You know how you've been eating before you turned to Yah. See, because Yah's diet is a cleansing diet. But, you know, that is to be done quarterly or at least twice a year. Okay? Quarterly every 3 months or twice a year every 6 months. You follow me? And when you get it down, you know, like I say, and then you when you come off of it, it's the same way when you went before you went on it. You go about 4 or 5 days eating light. Okay? Vegetables, fruits, and generally when you come off of it, you don't go back to eating like you were before you went on it, because you're making adjustments. If you just started, if you've never done it, if you're not totally got yourself in harmony with the diet yet or whatnot, you're making adjustments. And again, it's a little harder now because again we're under attack, and it's hard finding things that are right in a way, because Esau's got that soy or canola oil in just about everything. He got soy in just about everything, and that garbage you do not want. Take my word, soy is garbage. You don't want that. Canola, you don't want that. And it's hard to get around that stuff. That's why basically we eat at home. I mean, 99 and like 9-10% of the time we eating here. You know, I go shopping every week, and I got to read labels, and you know, we don't have a wide diet. You know, it's kind of like this food combining chart we got here by Wayne Pickering, right? The Mango Man. He says on there, you know, lessen your meals, you lessen disease. Many meals, many diseases. What's next? Okay, what will be our first moves when returning to the land? Will we obviously be coming from several different states, countries, areas of the world? How will how will we come together, and who will be given the next instructions from there? Yah's always giving the instruction all the time. We following his righteousness here. That's you know, just go back and read Deuteronomy chapter 30 and chapter 32. Okay, you know, just like what I'm saying now, all of you out there who are there right today, and all who will hear this message in the future, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go and substantiate, verify, or you know, unsubstantiate what I'm saying to you. Simple as that. And the only way you can do that is go in this book and read, study, pray, do what Yah says to do. And then you can substantiate and verify whether I know what I'm talking about or not. Other than that, how can you do it? How will you know? Isn't that what it says in Malachi chapter 3, 15 through the 18th verse? He says, you understand, he had a book of remembrance written up. That's his word. This you know, this book of remembrance, this so-called Old Testament, what Edomites, Illuminati Edomite put on it, right? And he said we shall return. That means we return to Yah, we return to his word, his righteousness. That's near everybody on the earth. Whatever language they speak. King James Authorized Version, the only one that meets that criteria. And we start reading and studying. We start praying, turning toward Jerusalem and praying. Okay? And then we start doing. Okay? The doing is usually follows those things. And that's the adjustments. And generally from the outset you're making major adjustments. Okay? Because you haven't been in harmony with Yah at all. But the longer you stay on this path, if you stay on this path and you submit to the will of this law, Yah's law, which makes you submission to him, then you're going to, you know, the longer you stay on it, the less adjustments that you'll be making. You know what I mean? As time goes by, they'll be minute. They'll be smaller. You understand? Because you've made the major ones over the first, you know, however long, first few years possibly, or a year or so, you know what I mean? And then you're making minor adjustments because we're under attack. That's why you don't get complacent. You still read labels. If you've been reading, you know, using something and you read the label and it was all right, you still, every now and then you still read that label because they made changes in these things. And all we can do is hope and pray that they telling us what they really putting in a thing. Okay? But again, many meals, many diseases. Okay? Because again, in that in harmony with Yah's law, I mean, he tells us, you know, we there's only certain things we supposed to eat. A lot of things we not supposed to eat. Unclean things, we're not supposed to eat those things at all. Okay? Dairy, we're not supposed to deal with that. The only thing we can have from the cow, other than, you know, the steaks and the beef and the ribs, you know what I mean, per se, the roast, is the butter. And if you're going to eat butter, you want it to be what? You want it to be organic. Because if it's not organic, more than likely it's going to have antibiotics and HGH in it. Human growth hormones. And possibly pus from the udders that they have hooked up to the cow. Sometime out there, you know, you get a chance, if you can access corporations, the documentary Corporations. It's also in book form, they tell me. Okay, but we got it here. Corporations, you watch that sometime and see what they show you there. What's next?
I think you were making a comment about us being in captivity.
Okay, we were in captivity by the Kemetic and Arabic throughout all the time we were in Africa, long before the white man. Well, I don't know who the white man is. I guess evidently you mean the Gentile. It was they, the Kemetic Arabic, who sold us to them, the white. Well, again, you know, let's just go back again to Deuteronomy 28, the last verse. We were to be taken back into Egypt by ships, and that doesn't apply to all Israel. That was just some of us, because this happened in 320 BCE, as I mentioned earlier, the 83rd Psalm. And when you look at that 83rd Psalm, and you look at the nations who were involved in that, led by the tabernacles of Edom, the Edomites, you're not going to see any nation in that 83rd Psalm that can be construed or considered or called the so-called white man. You're not going to see a Gentile nation there. All those nations you see there are either Shemitic and or Hamitic, not Japhetic. Okay? So let's just get some clarity. Okay? Well, okay, you got to say he ain't in the room, you know, that's all right. If he comes back and listen to it early, but those who are in the room and those who will hear it in the future, they can access that. You understand? This is sound like somebody who caught up, and I'm not knocking you, whoever you are, but you know, it sounds to me that your mind has been shaped and formed to a degree poisoned with this divisiveness, white man, black man garbage. Okay? What's next? How do you get the definitions, he who creates, and the meaning of Israel? Well, again, I've looked up in some Bible dictionaries, and they don't have it just exactly like that, but they say in the old Semitic, Sumerian, Semitic, you know, they got he creates, and then in another place they had, I think it was who create or something like that. So I just, you know, he who creates, it makes sense to me, when you can replace Yah's name with he who creates, and it works every time. I mean, tell me who, nobody else can create but him. You know what I'm saying? He's it. And then you know, as far as Israel, you know, I've explained that in the past when you go to 32nd chapter Genesis, right? Esau tampered with that because he doesn't want us to understand the true definition of Israel, because again, it's telling us what? He who has power with the strong one. And that's what, you know, the angel told Jacob. See, because Jacob, when you go back there to the 32nd chapter Genesis, Jacob's faith was shaken. He was afraid of flesh. He was afraid of his brother Esau, because he knew Esau was a killer, a murderer. He knew that. That's why he had to leave. That's why Rebecca got him out of there, because she got the word that, you know, after Jacob got the blessing, Esau had purposed to murder Jacob. So she got him out of there. He knew that. So you understand? You go read the 32nd chapter of Genesis. See, but understand always when we read this book that the descendants of Esau have tampered with the book. Quite naturally, you know they didn't want us to truly understand the definition of Israel. He who has power with the strong one. Because as long as we with Yah, who is the strong one, the only strong one, there is none else. He's our power. Is there a greater power in the universe? I know not any. You understand? So again, you know, just like I told a sister yesterday, last night, matter of fact, at the beginning of the Sabbath, you know, we got to talk about names in a place, and so I told, you know, like my name, Yahuda ben Yisrael, and this is what it means. Yah be praised, or he who creates be praised, son of he who has power with the strong. Okay? He who creates be praised, that's Yahuda, son of, that's Ben, he who has power with the strong one, Yisrael. What's next? Okay, I see a few in this room. I guess it means who referred to Yah, who referred to Yah as Yah, Y-A-H. Is that acceptable? Well, again, that's not the correct spelling. I've said this before. Okay, just like what you got when you got, I thought Y-A-H-H was only used to show how to pronounce the Most High's name. That's correct. You see that in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, 3050. They'll have Y-A-H-H as the phonetic spelling and the pronunciation. I know why, as I've said in the past, I know why people use Y-A-H, because it's easy to pronounce, right? And they still don't have it right. What you got there, Y-A-H-H, is the correct phonetical spelling, but that's not the correct spelling of Yah's name. That's the phonetical spelling. You understand? Where you get the pronunciation. Okay? But the correct spelling in English is Y-H-W-H. Or, as so far as what we know Hebraically, is Yod, He, Wah, He, right to left. Right? It's definitely 4 consonants. See? And that's why, again, Y-A-H can't be right. You understand what I'm saying? As a replacement for his name, because that's only 2 consonants in the vowel. Just like Y-A-H-H wouldn't be right to actually spell his name, because that's 3 consonants in the vowel. Right? But it's got to be 4 consonants. Y-H-W-H. Okay. Right. Ezekiel 29:21 horn. Yeah, that's our power. Right on, Malcolm. Should I say Yedida? That's that other horn. You know, that's our power. We understand. You know, when we get our power back, right? Okay. Yeah. Right. That's right. Yeshaya. That's Abijah, y'all. You know, that's what I was trying to think of. That's the place, but I couldn't think of this. Things escape me sometime. You know. A lot of information, but, you know, y'all on the case. That's right. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron. That's when we get our power back. And Yah's our power. See? In other words, what he's saying, when we return to him, then he'll return unto us. You see that in Yeshaya. When he says, you know, what is it, chapter 41? You understand what I'm saying? Chapter 42, 43, right? He, you know, like, come and let us plead together. You know what I mean? Because he does a little overview, right? Saying how righteous he has been toward us. He's imploring us to return unto him. And when we return unto him again, as I said earlier, in Solomon's supplication, right? 1 Kings 8, 2 Chronicles 6, you'll see this supplication. Say when we return. You see it there in Malachi chapter 3, 15 through 18, right? Then you shall return and discern who's serving Yah and who's not serving Yah. Well, the only way you can do that is to get in this book and really read, study, pray, and do. And when I say this book again, so there's total clarity, I'm talking about the book of remembrance, Malachi 3, 15 through 18. That's Genesis through Malachi. That's the book of remembrance. Not that garbage called the New Testament. That's garbage. That's Esau's garbage. And again, when different ones of you go to that covertmessiah.com, covert Messiah.com and read, maybe you'll take it better when you see them Gentiles. You understand? Telling you. You understand? Because a lot of us have a hard time when it's one of us telling them the truth. You know what I mean? They can take it better. You know what I mean? They so brainwashed. You know what I mean? They so used to Caucasians or Caucasian looking. It could be Edomites. Telling them things. They believe that. You know what I'm saying? They'll believe that. And again, here at Yah Righteous, we're not asking you to believe anything. We're not asking you to accept anything. We're not asking you to think, feel. We're asking you to read, study, pray, and do, to substantiate and confirm. Then you'll know, like I know. And like, Yeshaya knows. You understand? Yedida knows. Yada knows. Yakoya. You understand? Different ones that's be in this room. Uremia. Different ones is in this room now. They know. Because they read, they study. You understand? They pray, they do. They know. They substantiate. And we still learning. Like I said, I've been reading 40 years this month. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I always want to learn. If I get to be 1,000, I want to be still learning. Okay? What's next?
I don't think that. Let's just follow up to what you're talking about, slavery.
Okay, so let me just, so is that why while in slavery our forefathers were made sure not to be taught to or learn to read, to bring about, converted back to Yah's in Psalm 19:7. But see again, I hear what you're saying, and they couldn't stop that. Quite naturally, they wasn't in no hurry for us to read. And some of them, who were over us, Gentiles. You follow me? Maybe even some Edomites or other people. Yeah, it maybe got to the place they didn't want us to read, without a doubt. But at the same time, they possibly didn't truly understand that it didn't make any difference whether we read or not. Look how many of us been read, and they still not about Yah. Huh? Just look at all the ones of us that can read, got degrees all up on the wall. Huh? You understand what I mean? Look at Shaquille O'Neal. He called himself the Big Aristotle. Okay? The Big Aristotle. With horseshoes branded all in his arm, with tattoos of Superman, the Superman symbol all on him. Right? Does he know anything? Does he know he Israel? You understand what I'm saying? It's plenty of us that can read. That's not the key. Because again, you understand the Illuminati Edomite, again, I say to you what I said earlier, and you possibly, Yah illuminate you more with this. Just go to the 47th chapter, Yeshaya, right? And what does Yah say there about this daughter of Babylon, United States of America, the Illuminati Edomite, who runs it through the skull and bone boy, but who runs it? What does he say? Your wisdom and knowledge has perverted you so that you did not remember the latter end. See, the Illuminati Edomite, way back when they read the book, they knew. You understand? Just go to the 83rd Psalm. What did they say? See, when they read the book, you understand? And then they realized they still didn't understand the book of Daniel then. But you don't have to understand the book of Daniel. You follow what I'm saying? To know that Yah was cutting us off. Right? Yeshaya chapter 6, Hosea chapter 6, Ezekiel 37, Yeshaya chapter 44. That's all them 4 spots. Daniel, well, again, they didn't understand Daniel, right? But those 4 spots right there, them 4 places I just mentioned, all talk about what? Yah was cutting Israel off and making Israel where they couldn't understand, no matter how much reading skills they had. And the Illuminati, yes, the Illuminati Edomite understood that. That's why in the 83rd Psalm, you understand, he's like, he told the rest of them nations, and none of them were Gentile nations that went in with it, right? He said, hey, we got them. You understand what I mean? So what did he say? Let's deal what? Craftily with them, against Yah's hidden ones, so that they'll never wake up. That was his mind then, right? It didn't matter what kind of reading skills we had, right? See, the whole thing is we couldn't wake up to the fact that we were Israel until after them 2 days or 2,000 years was completed. And then after that, now the door is open. Now Yah can be found if we sought him. But you got to be seeking him. Okay, well, I thought you were.
Just repeat the thing.
Okay, okay. Not that it matters, feel real, but we thought you were a Gentile. Okay, so if you're not a Gentile, this is somebody else. I thought this was who. Okay, mistake.
So was he Edomite?
Okay, well, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, he's a brother.
I guess he's an Israelite. You feel real, what are you? What's your nationality? Put it up there since you put it out there that you're not a Gentile. Oh, you said, but you're Israel, right? Did it say you Israelite? Wait a minute.
I'm trying to see.
Where'd you go? Wait a minute, we trying to get to this.
I thought he was gonna say something else.
Okay, well, feel real say he's not a Gentile. I thought it was somebody else. Then maybe it's my error. I was thinking it was somebody else. But nevertheless, if you're an Israelite, you're an Israelite. See, because again, you've got different people of different nationalities, and they think that because they've turned to Yah, they're Israel. But you're not Israel if you're not Israel. You understand what I mean? Now, you can be, as I've said in Yeshaya chapter 56, you can be of another nationality, right? And turn to Yah and be accepted into his kingdom. Unless you are an Amalekite Edomite or an Edomite adult male, which means 20 years old and upward, okay? Or an Ammonite or Moabite male. Now, if you anyone, and don't let me leave out, or a Canaanite, and again, it might be hard to try to, kind of understand who's a Canaanite. Y'all know, you understand what I'm saying? But those are the only ones that's definitely barred from coming into the nation of Israel. But even though, other people who will be able to turn to Yah, you know what I'm saying? And when I say come into the nation of Israel, I don't mean like, you understand, you will be looked upon as an Israelite. You'll be what you are nationality-wise. But, like I said, 56 Yeshaya, you will be, what did Yah say there? Let not the stranger say, Yah has utterly separated me from his people. Okay? And that's for any and everybody who is not an actual Israelite by birth. Okay? See? Who turns to Yah and chooses the things that please Yah. They will be accepted into his kingdom. Okay? Those who learn to, as it says, love or care about Yah and all the things that they embrace all the things that pleases him, they'll be accepted into his kingdom. Unless they're Ammonite male, Moabite male, Amalekite Edomite, or an adult male Edomite. Okay? And that's 20 years old and upward. Or a Canaanite. And again, like I said, that might be a little hard for some, Canaanites to know if they are a Canaanite. You understand what I mean? But Canaanites cannot enter. Okay, what's next? Should we file a UC? No, I told you that's a bunch of nonsense. All that UCCI stuff, that's a bunch of nonsense. You ain't getting out with that. Okay? The only way you're gonna get out is being in compliance with Yah's law, not the law of man. Okay? Okay, right on, Yeshai. Okay, what's next? So the last battle is like 2 Chronicles 20, the mention of Jehoshaphat. Well, again, as it says, like in the day, the valley of Jehoshaphat. Like I said, go to Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. It's laid out there. It's going to be known as the valley of Humongad. But that's the last battle. Okay? What's next? Yes, he does. Yah righteousness does not go to men to find freedom. Okay, Yah righteousness does not go to men to find freedom from debt. Okay, yeah, that's.
He's answering that.
Okay, right on, Yeshaya. What's next? Okay, that's what? Absolutely, no, we do not. Okay, that's the answers. What's next? Okay, when we obey and fulfill our contractual obligation, then Yah will take all our debts from it. Yeah, that's true. Okay, what's next? We can now go to men. Okay. There's no strength among the people who be stricken. Yeah, okay, what's next? We're reading. Try to get the next question. We
gets to live. We are going to be together. Yeah, okay. That will be the state. Thank you. Come back in. I guess that's it. Okay. So, that looks like that's a session for today. So again, it's always our pleasure, my pleasure, and I pray Yah is, looking down on all of us, and being a shield and a blessing to all of us, because and He will be for all of us that's in harmony with Him. So go back over this, as we, I said earlier, go back over all the things that we've got out there. It's a lot of keys in these Pal Talks. Okay? A lot of keys in them. Just go back, but you got to read the book. You got to read the book in its entirety, Genesis through Malachi. That's, okay? That's a must. You got to do that. And you got to harmonize with the law. Read, study, pray, and do. Okay? That's the formula. That's the recipe. If you want the cake to come out right, you got to abide by the recipe. You got to follow it. Okay? With that, for Yah righteousness you receive. Yah bless. Peace.